and then we'll do a brief little intro. We'll run through all the players, run through a quick little content warning just to be safe, and then we'll get started. So we'll probably start at about 5:05. But, hey, cheers.
Oh gosh, I'm not ready. Also, don't forget rain.
Rain, cheers.
Cheers.
And then, boop,
And
for rain.
Oh, oops, I only cheers rain.
Nice.
Absolutely rude.
Sorry, my bad.
Utter disrespect to all the other players present.
Yeah, I'm actually only here to play with rain.
It's alright.
Why wouldn't you be?
I mean, honestly. Like I said, we'll give it till about 5:05, then we'll do our little run through and get started. Should we do a tweet? So we're live?
Yeah.
Yes, my phone is upstairs.
Mine's not, so.
Boy, now they know there's 2 of us.
Well, there's a bard and a brew.
Oh, yeah, I'm the brew. It's kind of fitting.
Alright. Everyone boost the hell out of it. Just posted.
Yeah, I guess I can use... I should have brought my phone down though, so I could have done Instagram next time.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, so...
Here we go.
Alright. We are, in fact, live.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird thing to say before a D&D game. Not used to that.
I'm gonna retweet it.
First time
Can
for
we
everything.
retweet and quote tweet it?
Yes.
But I have to do the quote
You have to do
tweet
the quote
first.
tweet first.
No, you don't.
I thought.
Amazing.
Apparently not. Alright. Oh man, I just popped into the
chat?
users in chat, and Story's here.
Oh, hey.
I'm very excited Story showed up.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Story, the 2 people who have been running the Twitter nonstop for the last few weeks are very excited to see you
And
here.
loving your TikTok content.
Yes. Very,
so
very big
much.
fans. Thank you. Thank you for your support.
Love the TikTok.
Hell yeah. Dude, it's so nice seeing people, like, it's great seeing names pop up from everyone who's just been interacting for the last couple of weeks. That's actually really cool. It's a new feeling for me. That feels pretty good.
So good.
We're going to be starting in just a couple of minutes. We're just kind of giving it a second to kick in, and then we're going to run through our nice little intro and start from there. So, I apologize in advance. I'm not quite sure yet how I want to balance DMing and interacting with chat, so there's a little bit of a chance that might get left by the wayside for long stretches of time. I'll do my best. I'm just kind of very ADHD brain, so it's kind of hard for me to, like, move too rapidly from one subject to the next.
Oh, Isabel's on camera.
Oh, is Isabel on camera?
Isabel's on camera.
Oh, man.
Oh, her first appearance.
Her
Yeah.
little head.
I was about to say, raise up. Let's see if we can get Isabel on camera real
We
quick.
gotta-
Oh my god, we got our
we
mascot
gotta-
dog.
Isabel's
There we
looking
go.
There you go.
Yeah.
We gotta post a player profile for Isabel.
Yeah, we do got to do a player profile for
Oh.
Isabel.
I
She's
gotta
the
write that.
familiar. The group
She is
familiar.
yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
That's her title.
It's about time, so I'm going to go ahead and get things started. First off, welcome everybody. This is our inaugural stream. We are all very excited and low-key terrified and nervous to be doing this, but it's been something that I think a lot of us have wanted to do for a long time. I'm very, very glad to have you with us. Hopefully, it's as enjoyable a ride for you as it is for all of us. To get things started, I'm going to go ahead and go around our table, both virtual and in person, and we're going to introduce both the players and the characters that they will be playing. If we could start that off with my left, Dylan.
Hi, I am Dylan, and I will be playing Kethus, the thief rogue. Not technically a thief yet, but that's all he knows, because he grew up in the wild, hiding himself from every danger that there is. Being an elf, that's about everything in the world, so I'll be sneaking around and stealing things.
Hell yeah. Russ?
Alright, so I'm Russell. I'll be playing Alisar Wilcast, a human monk that will be pretty known for his curiosity, for how he wants to know what people are doing in their profession, and his big straw hat that's chopped up in the front so he can see through it at least. And he loves his blue cape that he got when he was in the monastery. He will always keep that with him, and he is obsessed with weapons. So you'll see Alisar playing with a lot of swords, learning different techniques, and figuring out what everyone's good at.
Yeah. Do you guys want to actually, if you could go ahead and do your pronouns too on that. Both yours and your characters, if applicable.
So I'm Russell. My pronouns are he, him, and same with Alistar.
Okay.
I'm also he, him, and Kethus is also he, him.
Good catch. Patrick.
I am Patrick. I am playing Cub, the Dwarf Ranger. Cub has been in the wilderness for as long as he can remember. I'm sorry, I am also he, him. Cub is also he, him. Cub has been in the wilderness as long as he can remember. He has very little to no memory of his previous lifestyle. He has basically survived off of learning the habits and patterns of different animals, foraging, and befriending animals where he can. He uses a short bow and has deer antlers attached to them because deer are his favorite animal. And he is going to be the one who does his best to guide the party through the uncharted territories.
Hell yeah. We'll actually do Rain next, as that's probably where Rain would be sitting in the next order.
Because there's a chair next to
Yeah,
me.
there is an empty chair here for you symbolically.
Rain.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot.
My name is Raid. My pronouns are she, her. I will be playing Ashirka, the half-orc fighter. She also uses she, her pronouns. The only other orc that she's ever known is her father, who was a noble knight who was known for all of his good deeds. And she just wants to live up to his example with her horse Strawberry.
Love Strawberry. Really glad Strawberry survived the shipwreck.
Yeah.
You'd like to go ahead?
Yeah. My name is Bran. I use they, she, and he pronouns. And I will be playing character Ilva, who is a 21-year-old human barbarian. Ilva uses she, her pronouns. And everyone has like really solid like personality descriptions, and this entire thing I prepared is just like her being hot. So
Isn't that a personality?
She's so ripped.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
she's
And a little furry.
ripped.
I'm sorry,
She's
is that not a personality?
beefy. Yeah, she's like 5'11", which is a little tall for a human. She's quite beefy. She's got like a real competitive weightlifter build. And she's got long, dark gray hair, and like dark gray body hair. And like piercing gray eyes. And she is a devout worshiper of a deity that's really important to her people. She's from a small mountain village. And she's here to find some answers.
I am very excited for this particular casting crew here. Alright guys, I'm going to, especially for this first session, go ahead and go out of my way real quick to give a little bit of content warning. There shouldn't be anything too gratuitous or too upsetting for anyone's particular sensibilities, but I just want to cover my bases to be safe. There will be a couple of recurring themes that may or may not be slightly triggering to some people. My rule of thumb, whenever I do cover said themes, is always, we know bad things happen, it's enough to understand that bad things are happening, you move on. There's no need to roleplay those things out, we know what the world can be like. The three most predominant themes that will be occurring pretty regularly. There's a lot of religious zealotry, extremism, even, I would say. There are many themes of anti-intellectualism and anti-knowledge, book burning, things of that nature. And then there is a probably fairly heavy theme of violence. And I'm more leaning towards the suggestion of anti-witch practices, i.e. burnings, things of that nature. The suggestions of torture. Again, these are not things that will be played out on screen or in-game, but they are things that will be mentioned and or alluded to. So, just going to go ahead and start off with that warning there. If at any point something's feeling a little too real for any of our players, we already have mechanisms in place to take care of that. Same thing goes with chat. Feel free to just let us know that maybe we crossed the line, and we'll take that into consideration going forward. But I don't anticipate it being an issue. With that said, Saga. We had a brief session before stream in which our players were aboard a vessel captained by the dwarf Grim Legrouse on their way to to Nordheim. During the voyage, they learned a little bit about the culture, engaged with some of the sailors, lost a little bit of money in a game of fate,
Mostly me.
and had their ship destroyed by a colossal wave. Fortunately, all of the crew, at least all of this crew, managed to survive and wake up on the black sand beaches of Nordheim. After a little bit of tottering around, messing with some golden crabs, they shortly discovered the body of their once captain, Grim Legrouse, who unfortunately did not survive the shipwreck. After determining that it was appropriate to give him a respectful burial and funeral service, they faced a new horizon in a strange, unfamiliar land. I would like everyone to roll a perception check, please.
First roll of the day.
First roll of the day.
Not great.
I see a lot of unfortunate reactions.
Let's get the bad numbers out of the way early.
No, honestly,
Yeah, that's what you're talking about.
that this is my first roll for this campaign is perfect.
Well, let's start with you.
I
what did you
rolled
roll,
a
Abel?
nat 1 for a 0,
Fantastic. So nothing.
so nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
I'm not paying attention.
You just-
I'm praying.
These crabs are truly fascinating.
Your eyes are completely closed.
That's
I'm
all you
fixated
see
on-
is these shining golden crabs. Ashurka,
12.
12. Okay. Cub,
21.
21. Fair.
9.
9 for Alistair.
And 8.
And 8 for Kethus. Alright, so basically all around the board, man, these shiny crabs are really distracting. They're catching the gleam of the sunlights, and it's just, what's going on with these
I'm
crabs?
still trying to figure out a way to catch one.
Cub,
I'll help.
you see your friends engaged in this nonsense activity, and you want to show them how it's done once again. So you're working on showing them how you previously had captured one of these crabs. And you raise your gaze over one of the black dunes. There is a figure sitting, watching you with some amusement. Looks humanoid, male. He's got a pretty heavily scarred face, missing his left eye. Slicked back, long, kind of salt-stained gray hair, and a similarly tangled, gnarly gray beard. Not too long, kept about mid-length. What's interesting is, one, he's seated in some sort of chair, mechanism you're not quite familiar with, and two, he is wrapped in a shawl of what appears to be flags. It's tough to get a read from this distance. But you can see the expression of bemusement and vague mirth on his face as he's watching over you guys, kind of fumbling through this sandy beach, trying to capture these shiny little buggers.
I've made myself a little string lasso, and I'm trying to
Trying to wrangle one?
trying to hook one.
Go ahead and
And
give
I'm
me just
trying
What was that?
I'm gonna help him by like
Boxing him out.
Yeah,
Kind of boxing
hurting
them.
Yeah.
Give me just a general dexterity check.
Elva is just like, stop trying to catch them, they'll die.
What'd you roll?
As the string goes out, I'm like, not if I don't touch them. It's an 11.
An 11? Yeah, you know, rodeo is already probably pretty difficult. You have no idea as you've never seen it, but it's even harder with a crab that's about the size of a baby's fist. So you're having a tough time, but you're trying. You're trying for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so after seeing this figure watching us, I'm going to turn back, and as I'm watching all this happen, I'm going to be like, person watching us, any of you see this?
He just holds up a hand.
How far away is he?
Probably about 50 yards. Close enough that you can make out larger details, but not really quite close enough to have an easy conversation.
I already move my hat to try to get a better look.
About the same.
I didn't notice, and I'll start to walk over to Cub.
Okay.
Yeah. Throw my hood up and follow big, strong leader barbarian.
That's fair. Looks like it's on you, Cub.
Okay. Let's go. And I'm gonna walk towards the figure.
As you start approaching, you get a better glimpse at the chair now that it's in motion as it rolls down one of the dunes and comes to a nice and controlled stop. It has these kind of large wheels on either side with these sharp panels of wood wedged into the wheels at intervals that appear to be allowing it to dig into the sand and move with relative ease. He seems to be having no trouble navigating this. He has two small handles on either side of the wheels, and he's moving with, honestly, grace along these dunes as he approaches you. As he gets closer, you vaguely recognize this face. Kind of feel like maybe you've seen this in a dream. It's the voice that definitely resonates and sticks with you. You are fairly confident you've heard this man speak before. Ah, I wasn't sure you'd come. And when I saw the wreckage, I'd feared the worst. What happened? Are you all uninjured?
Are we all uninjured?
Alistair shakes his limbs around, jumps up and down. Yeah, I seem to be fine.
That's good to see. Good to see. I am Eagle. We spoke. Well, we have communicated once before today. I believe it is no small claim to say I'm the reason you're here.
You were in my head. How were you in my head?
That's a trick that we'll keep quiet between us. You understand?
Like a wizard or something?
It's best not to use terms like that here. They draw unwanted attention.
Well, you've certainly got ours.
Good. I'll need it. How do you find my home?
This beach? Are these crabs yours?
No, but as a courtesy, perhaps stop ending their lives needlessly.
I agree.
It's said here that these crabs contain the souls of dead sailors.
Oh. I didn't mean to kill them.
Then what happens when they die?
I guess you could ask that question of any of us.
What if sailors turn into crabs, and then we kill the crabs? Are they still sailors, or are they now dead crabs?
Asking the important questions. Unfortunately, I have no answers. I am no cleric. I'm just a man, a humble storyteller. And I'm here to ask if perhaps I could start you on your own story. But that's not a conversation for the cold, wet beach. Allow me to escort you to town. Holbreak is not far.
So we did make it.
You're quite close.
It's convenient.
Just about a mile. I had to come searching for you, but I was on my morning walk.
It's good. Keeps you healthy.
It does.
Passionate.
Fresh air does you good.
Yeah, I agree.
He kind of presumptuously just turns and starts rolling right on back up the dune that he came down. Of note, again, these wheels seem to be doing their part. Climbs up that dune with very little trouble. Well, are you coming?
Yeah. I head right on up the dune. Alistair's just kind of standing there, fascinated by the chair alone.
Yeah. Walking behind him, you especially, being a man who does take in so many details and does love to learn these small things, you can tell that this was made with extreme and exquisite care. It's very fine materials. All the carvings look like they were done by hand. They were smoothed out with beeswax, so it has a nice, fine sheen to it. It's got fine leather backings. It all looks to be of great make. Quite intricate. It's got a series of gears and springs that you can't quite wrap your head around. But looks like an impressive piece of kit.
And I will be right behind him and ask if he would like to I'm gonna push him since it looks like it's a wheelchair. Since
He'll just kind of swat your hand away. I've gotten around for 100 years just fine. I think I can manage.
only trying to be polite.
It's
I'm sorry.
appreciated. And he just keeps on rolling.
I love the chair, by the way. I'm quite fascinated by how it all works. I hope you would explain it to me when we have some free time.
Perhaps. I'll do my best. I am not its maker.
Oh, well, maybe you can point me in his way or her way.
I would. She's been dead for about 30 years.
Alistair just kind of goes blank-faced, doesn't know what to say.
He'll reach behind him and kind of pat you on the side and be like, "Don't worry, you haven't made a bad impression yet." And he'll just keep on wheeling.
Yep.
Put my hood up a little tighter, trying to hide whatever scarred ears I have. And I'll ask, so what do you do in Holbrook?
Well, I tell stories, I advise, I hire help whenever possible, such as yourselves. You could call me a man who sings for his dinner, so to speak. The job changes every day, but the days remain the same.
So like a performer.
Of a sort. It's not always a performance. Sometimes it's work. Other times it's writing. Sometimes it's studying. Sometimes it's just company.
What's your favorite thing to study?
Yeah.
My favorite thing to study? History, by far. And the hardest thing to come across in these lands. But again, that'll be a conversation for private, perhaps.
Are we in civilization now?
Well,
Is someone gonna stumble upon us?
we're fairly close.
Okay.
These lands have ears. It's best not to tempt them.
Cub is gonna look around.
Ilva's also gonna look around, but is looking for literal ears.
That's what I'm doing as well.
Oh, good.
I don't see ears. Where are they?
He'll ignore the comment, presumably thinking it's a joke, and he'll turn to Ashurka and just say, "I've also secured a stable for your companion."
I'm going to pat Strawberry on her neck and say, "Thank you. Does your mount have a name?" And just gesture to the chair.
He kind of laughs, and it's this oddly youthful and vigorous laugh for a man who is now self-proclaimed to be at least 100 years old. And it's just filled with a lot of energy and genuine, gleeful mirth. It just sounds happy and warm. He lets out this laugh, and he just says, "No, no, no. Though sometimes I refer to it as piece of junk. Depends on the day.
My own mount is named Strawberry, so I understand.
Strawberry is a beautiful name. We have to get those imported here. They don't grow."
Horses don't grow here?
Well, that is a fair assumption from my misspeech. I meant the fruit by which your horse is named.
Alistair kind of giggles to himself after hearing that exchange.
Do you have any visible equipment on him?
Make an investigation check.
That's a big fat 8.
8? Nothing of note. Got a satchel that's pretty... doesn't seem to be making any attempt to hide it. He also has, like, tucked into that kind of shawl that he's wearing. You see, like, a leather strap that seems to be holding some sort of holster, and it looks like there's a large leather-bound journal in the holster. But other than that, nothing you can quite tell from this angle. It's kind of tough. He's doing a lot of moving, so it's kind of hard to get a better look at his gear.
Okay.
As you guys are walking, you do start to see smoke cresting over the now plains-like grass that you're going over. You're still kind of in black sand territory, where the ground is more gravel and rock than it is dirt, but you're starting to see outcroppings of this fine golden grass that stands about knee height. And as you go through these kind of waving meadows of ever-thickening grass that start to turn into wildflowers and clover, you crest over, and you see before you a large circular port town cut into a small recession, almost a valley carved into the land. It has a bowl-like entryway where there's pretty calm water that seems to kind of be almost isolated from the ocean running just a few miles to your east. The town itself is a collection of well-made but small and humble origin buildings, all except for 3 buildings in particular that stand out from this distance. One appears to be a massive warship that's been turned on its end, keel facing up. There are 3 plumes of smoke rising from that, and even from this distance, you can see that there are many, many guards walking around the outside of it. Another building slightly to the south of that is a large 2-storied circular building with a mound of moss for a roof, and there's a pretty steady stream of people going in and out of this building. Only 1 plume of smoke from this, so seemingly only 1 fireplace. The 3rd building of immediate note is far off and isolated from the rest of the town. It's pretty far to the north, almost a quarter of a mile, so a pretty good distance between this and the rest of the town. And it appears to be a hovel built entirely out of stone. This also has a heavy guard presence. Other than that, pretty standard fare, standard huts. A couple of larger buildings that seem to maybe be places of business or maybe more prominent townsfolk homes. There are currently 3 sloops in the port right now. The port looks like it can accommodate a fair number of ships. None of you are particularly naval-minded, but from ports that you have visited already, it's pretty good size, especially for the town being so small. So it seems like this was made perhaps to accommodate maybe warships or large trader vessels. Unsure. But the town is giving off a nice, warm glow. This sea of grass kind of evolves into a sea of clover, wildflowers, and ferns, as these all coalesce into the otherwise black ground that is the sand foundation of the rest of this village. You guys have made it to Holbrick.
Mission complete.
Game over, that's it.
And
Thanks
that's
for coming,
Thanks
everybody.
everyone for tuning in.
As you guys kind of crest one of the hills that finally allows you the preeminent view of the entire town, you see Eagle just flip a lever in his chair and seemingly release some sort of stopping mechanism, as now he is just freely rolling on with pretty substantial speed towards the town. Come on, follow! He's
Yeah, no,
waving
I'm
at
going to
you.
try to race him.
You're trying to race him?
I'm trying to catch up.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
Give me an athletics check.
Ilva sees this as competition and starts
Are you going to start running too? Same to you. Athletics.
Athletics?
I mean, I'm gonna get on Strawberry and start riding after them.
Okay. Athletics with advantage.
Okay. 19 for me.
19.
A big fat 3.
Big fat 3.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
Nobody told me that it would be running.
How'd Strawberry do?
12.
12? Not bad, not bad. So Strawberry, kind of by default, no real problem keeping up. Strawberry is a little timid right now, probably from somehow miraculously surviving a shipwreck. So not quite galloping, not going all out, but easily keeping pace with the man. Ilva, you're made for this. You're not even dead headlong sprinting. You're making it a point to show how easy it is to keep pace with this. You're just long strides and almost loping through the wildflowers. Alistair, you're ready. You put all of your weight into your back foot and you lunge forward and immediately step into a gopher hole. You don't quite trip and you don't eat shit, but you definitely lost ground and you're like struggling to catch up the whole time, kind of limping a little bit. You know, you kind of twisted your ankle a little.
My knee hurts.
Yeah, your knee hurts a little bit. You're like, oh, getting too old for this. You're trying to keep up and you manage to make a showing, but it's maybe not the best representation of yourself. Cub, Kethus,
I'm walking.
just walking.
Yep.
Cub,
Cub is trying to keep up with his stubby, stocky figure.
hey, look, in the immortal words of Gimli, you're a sprinter. All right, so easy enough. If you're not trying to make a show of it, I'd say it's pretty easy to maintain like that 10-yard distance. You know, you're keeping pace, but you're not on even footing with the crowd. But at this speed, you guys will find yourselves in Holbrig in about a minute. Kethus, you're able to afford yourself a slightly better look, so if you would like, go ahead and give me 3 investigation checks. In the meantime, you guys have now entered Holbrig, and almost immediately, Eagle holds out a hand and kind of stops you guys, and you see directly before him is a very large, heavily armored woman. Lots of heavy scarring and a little bit of 5 o'clock shadow. Long black hair. It's braided into a series of knots that kind of combine in the back of her head. She is wielding a very large mace at the side of her hip with a head that appears to be made out of pure raw marble. It's pretty nasty looking. And you're fairly certain that the once white marble is now a distinct shade of brownish red. So maybe it's gotten a little bit of use. She is sitting currently arguing with what looks to be some sort of militia or guardsman. It's a man in kind of rough leathers, and he has a long spear and kind of a makeshift, older wooden round shield. And she appears to be giving him a pretty good talking down, as he is kind of shrinking into himself and cowering a little bit at the fury of this much larger, large, loud woman who does not appear too thrilled. What did you roll, Kethus?
I got a 3,
Okay.
16, and a 19.
Cool. So first one, nothing happens. First thing that you notice, getting to take your time and getting a kind of slower view. The guards on the farthest building, the one made of stone, are not dressed similarly to the rest of the guards in town. They all appear to be wearing plate. They all appear fairly heavily armed, and there are only 3 of them making rounds around this building. They all have some sort of strange, like, from this distance, you're pretty certain it's paper hanging off at various intervals of their armor. And they all appear to have small, pale objects. You can't quite make out what it is. But they're pretty heavily adorned with, like, these strange, pale objects all over their armor. Again, they have a pretty wide berth from the rest of the town.
Okay.
The next thing you notice is that there are 2 guards standing at the docks, and they appear to be arguing with someone. There's a small dwarven man, who even for a dwarf, doesn't stand terribly high. And he appears to be doing his best, but is kind of getting overwhelmed by these 2 guards. And we'll return to you guys and the scene of the large woman giving a guard a stern talking down to.
Are they within earshot?
You're getting pretty close to earshot.
Okay.
You're still about 20 yards away. So, I mean, you can definitely tell that they're yelling something, but it's kind of...
Is it possible to move into earshot without, like, being noticed?
Probably not without being noticed, but you could probably do it without directly intervening. You know,
Okay.
you wouldn't be stepping into their personal space. You'd still be a good distance off, but there's definitely a circle of respect that has built around this scene,
Gotcha.
and people don't seem to be breaching that circle. You distinctly hear the word coward many, many times. Seems to be getting a little bit of use.
From the woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good thing none of us are cowards.
Speak for yourself. What is this like at the front gate?
There's no real gate situation to this town. It's unwalled. It's kind of just protected by the natural elevation difference.
Okay.
It's kind of settled in like a valley or a cove almost into the land, and the land just naturally rolls into hills behind it. Sorry about that. Ooh, that actually threw me off. But it's kind of the direction you're heading. Eagle appears to have sort of accidentally led you guys, or maybe on purpose, led you guys to what is one of the main thoroughfares. And it's just smack dab in the middle of what would probably be the central thoroughfare of town. This definitely looks like it's the area that gets the most travel, and it's right in between a lot of the largest buildings you've seen.
Gotcha. Since I was the furthest back, I'm gonna kind of take a really wide berth and not really follow the party.
Okay.
Kind of skirt around the edge
Go
and go
ahead and,
through different areas.
Go ahead and give me a stealth check. You have advantage on this. There's definitely a distraction going on. In the meantime, what are you guys doing?
Hey, Eagle,
Yes.
does this happen a lot?
Yes. But I believe this specific instance is one in which Yacht has a fair point.
What was that, the name?
Yacht.
Yacht?
Yeah.
Is
That is spelled J-O-T.
And is that the
The large, angry woman,
Uh-huh.
yes. Yes. Yes, that is Yacht. She's our marshal.
Oh, okay. And that, okay. Great.
Our marshal is the person who enforces the will of our Jarl throughout his stewardship. His barony, as you would likely know it.
Was this mentioned before?
No.
Okay, great.
She appears to be scolding the young man for, cowardice. It seems as if a fight was breaking out and he decided to walk away rather than alleviate the tensions.
Wait, he's being punished for not wanting to fight?
Well, I think the implication is that he should have stopped the fight.
Oh, okay.
He was ignoring his duties.
Exactly.
Wait, but stopped the fight by winning the fight, or stopped the fight by stopping the fight?
Unclear.
Okay.
As the conversation is going, and you guys now at this point, the circle of respect is kind of closing in, and you guys are moving in as well. It seems people are getting a little eager to know what's going on. All of you recognize from the boat, these two people at times keep slipping into what sounds like song. Sounds like they're singing angrily to one another, complete with verse, with structure, with chords. It's almost beautiful, and then the random comment gets thrown in, and it's just like beautiful sounds, and then fucking coward, and then more beautiful sounds, and then so disgusted, and then again just more of these beautiful flowy noises. The large woman glances around, and you're now close enough to see this one piercing sky blue eye, and it makes eye contact directly with each and every one of you, you excluded, and she proceeds to let go of the man with her right hand. And as she lets go of the man, she was holding him by the scruff, pulling him in nice and close. You notice that half of her hand is actually missing. She only has the first two fingers and her thumb on her right hand. Goes along with the large scar. You all look new.
Well, that's because we are.
No shit. What are you doing in my town?
Well-
We're guests.
Eagle kind of rolls forward a little bit and is like, Marshal, I brought them in. Eagle, I have no time for your nonsense. I asked them a question. I am busy. What are you doing in my town?
The man was trying to give you an answer.
I like you. Fair enough, Eagle. And he goes on to explain that you're friends of his, that he called from offshores from a trading venture. He'd like you to come in and maybe bring some new business into the town, and maybe defend said new business. So you got a little bit of muscle between you, huh?
I think so.
She looks you up and down, and then looks you up and down again, and then looks you up and down one more time, and is just like, yeah, I reckon you might. And then she turns to she turns to the large half orc on the horse and is like, figure you might too. She's kind of looking like eye level with you. Pretty large woman. She seems to be standing at about 7.5 feet tall. Pretty big.
Love it.
You guys got some muscle?
I just pat my sword, and that's my answer.
What did you roll?
24.
You are completely unseen. We'll come back around.
Yep, I'm moving in.
Okay. She scans you guys and it's like, so got a little bit of muscle. Do you have a spine? Maybe some gumption to earn free food and drink?
I'm quite good in certain scenarios.
Eyes you up and down again. What about the rest of you?
Who am I closest to currently?
Up to you.
I'm going to tug on Alistar's sleeve and kind of gesture for him to come down to my height real quick.
I don't bend down. I just kind of
Lean.
And Cub is going to whisper in his ear, "What's gumption?" What's gumption? If people can't hear me from back here.
Then I'll explain to him it just means guts.
Yeah.
It means having what she said, spine to do something, the gall, the audacity.
Oh, I have a spine and I have guts. At least I think.
It means be brave.
Oh. Yeah, I can do that.
She kind of like pushes the guard by the face out of her way.
Yeah.
I'm done with you. And looks to all of you and says, alright, drinks and food are on me if you help me break up a brawl.
I'd love to.
I don't even need to use my sword.
Yeah, I would prefer we keep weapons out of it unless entirely necessary. No reason to
fine.
draw blood in the tavern.
Oh, okay. Tavern.
But some broken noses, that's fine. You all on board?
I fought some wild animals, people.
Who is fighting?
Bunch of ruffians from out of town. They came in, demanded free room and board, started causing problems when they didn't get it. I'd like to see them humbled.
Not a problem. As Alistar cracks his knuckles.
What are you up to, Kethus?
Moving in to the middle of town as much as possible.
Okay.
Kind of looking for a gathering place.
Okay. So, like, a spot where the town would typically gather.
Yeah, just somewhere where there's going to be a bunch of people.
Okay. At first glance, it's pretty clear that either, one, the spot that is currently being occupied seems to be the quote-unquote center of town, but the other spot that you can immediately tell is very, very well traveled is a spot right in front of the long boat-like house. There's a plinth in the middle of it, like kind of this well-trodden dirt square, and it definitely looks like it gets a lot of action. So that seems to be kind of the focal point.
Which spot looks more active right now?
Definitely where the marshal is currently engaging the rest of your party.
Okay. I'll just kind of arc around back towards it,
Okay.
but keeping... Is this like moving through alleys and stuff? Or...
You are at the moment. If you wanted to loop around, you would eventually have to cross the main street.
I imagine there's people
There's people.
up and down. That's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah, I just want to kind of keep my eyes on them from afar.
Okay. Easy enough to do.
Yep.
And the rest of you, Yot seems to be ready to go. She kind of gestures over her shoulder, pockets her mace once more, kind of fits it through a loop at her waist. Follow me. I'll take you to the stash cask.
Alisar knows how to follow orders, so he follows.
Okay. Going with?
Yep.
Going with?
Start to follow, but as we do, I'm going to turn to Ashirka, and just whisper, "Where did Kethus go?"
Which one is Kethus?
The one with the hood.
Ah! Is he still chasing crabs?
Did we forget him at the beach?
Too sneaky, didn't see him go away.
At that, Yot leans over and is like, "You may want to hitch the horse." And she gestures to a series of posts that are out front of various larger buildings that appear to be some sort of storefronts. Kind of mentions to tie off Strawberry, as it would be kind of hard to get a full-blown warhorse in the front door of an inn.
Seems
Yeah,
like
I'll
they're just
dismount and I will hitch her to the closest
Okay.
one. to
There's
where we're
one.
going.
You can go ahead and for convenience, we'll say that you wait until you get closer to the inn, because there are a series of hitching posts right off the outside of the inn. But as soon as you guys get to the building, it is in fact the two-storied circular building that you saw from far away with the moss roof. As you guys get to it, you already hear shouting, curses, a lot of disrespectful tones coming from inside. A couple of broken glass sounds. Sounds like there's a bit of a scuffle going down. This is the source of the commotion. Why don't you show me what you got?
go in.
Yeah,
Just stepping in?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm right beside Ilva.
All right.
Is there another way in?
Give me a perception check, and we'll see.
13.
13?
14, sorry.
There is a window on the west side of the building that appears to be open.
Second floor, first floor?
First floor.
Okay. Sure, I'll try and go into the window.
Okay. Your stealth roll still applies, so no one's going to see you attempting to do this. I would just say give me... What'd you roll? 24?
24, yeah.
No, that's more than enough. So you're able to just, kind of like a cat burglar, just slip right in and into the main room. And what you see before you is a large, warm tavern. You immediately, fortunately enough, slipped in directly behind an unoccupied table. So you have a little bit of a hidey hole and vantage point to look out. But looking in, you see a beautiful mahogany wood bar with a series of these just really ornate and well-polished driftwood banisters that wrap all around it and kind of give it a little bit of flavor. There's a series of brass stools set up at intervals around all sides. And it would be a really beautiful sight if everything wasn't knocked over, covered in spilt beer and blood, as there are 3 large men dressed in what appear to be primarily goat skins. They are all mostly unarmed. Seemingly they only have a large dirk at their hips. And they are all currently fighting with their fists, but they are definitely causing some trouble, as there are about 2 or 3 patrons currently laying dazed in pools of their own spit and blood, looking like they took quite the thrashing, and they're now currently ganging up on a fairly burly dwarf man who looks like he's been having a rough go, trying to hold him off by himself.
Okay. Yeah. I'll quickly move to, like, the edge of this danger zone.
Okay. Yeah, I'd say the room is probably about 30 by 50.
Okay.
So it's a little on the oval shaped side. But yeah, roughly 30 by 50. You're probably, straight ahead of you is probably the 50, towards the door.
Cool.
So I'd say you'd probably move about 15 feet, would get you to within their radius of immediate notice.
Gotcha.
Anything further in that, you'll have to roll stealth.
Okay.
And you guys charging in would
Yeah.
see the same thing, except now you see the largest of the 3 men, a man with a well-braided, short, black beard. It looks like it would probably be very, very long if you left it unbraided, but he has it tied in this series of beautiful, intricate knots all around close to his face. and he has small little coins weaved in various spots around the beard. Similarly, his hair is braided very, very close. Jet black. He's got bright, bright green eyes, and he's dressed in very clean, well put together, well patterned gray goat skin. It's kind of like a leather jerkin setup with like a wrap going around that is the goat hide. He also has a very finely made dirk at his side, and he is currently holding this poor dwarf man, who is a fairly darker skinned dwarf, kind of wearing like a dirty white shirt. Looks like it's stained with black splotches here and there. And he's holding him by the scruff of his shirt, fist back. And he turns and faces you and just, huh?
Do we see Kethus on the other side?
You guys do not.
Okay. Cool. Just making sure.
But I see them come in.
You definitely
Yeah.
see them.
As they come in, I'm going to just ready my pack of ball bearings.
Pack of ball bearings. All right. Easy enough.
Is Mims is like, huh?
Mhm.
And just like, hey, you! Put him down.
For what?
Also, I want to punch you in the fucking face.
Good luck.
I charge at him and try to punch him in the fucking face.
All right.
As I see any of the party charge, I'm throwing ball bearings at his feet.
Okay, so we're going to let two things happen first. I want you to roll to hit, and I just want you to roll a d20.
I got a 18, and I'm unarmored.
Yep.
Just straight punch.
Definitely hits. Go ahead and roll damage for that, and you also rolled an 18.
Yes.
Cool. We'll see the results of that in a second.
As
4.
Alistar's punch lands, I just want to yell out, or we won't go easy on you.
Okay. So, Alistair, you land a punch, and it connects with this just stone jaw. I mean, you were not quite expecting it. You hit a pretty solid surface. Definitely hit him good, though, and he does not look happy about it. He drops the dwarf immediately and goes to re-solidify his stance, stepping directly on a ball bearing. Thank you. Sorry, my dog is being weird. He steps directly on a ball bearing, and you watch as he kind of catches himself, and then the drunkenness kicks in, and the leg goes up in the air, and he slaps back, head just connecting with bar counter as he goes down. And in one fell swoop, you get this solid punch, which you're fairly confident wasn't enough to put him down in one go. And then he just whips back, and you hear a thud and a crack. And you see a little crack appear in the side of the bar, and a little splotch of blood. And he's out like a light, just down. Just laying on the ground, drool slowly pooling out of his mouth. Looks like he took a pretty nasty fall. The other two guys immediately square up, like they're ready to throw down, and I'm going to need everyone to roll initiative.
And as I'm rolling initiative, I square up as well.
Hell yeah. First initiative.
First initiative.
Ooh, not great.
You took one out in one go, though, thanks to some ball bearings and a solid D8 of blunt force trauma to the back of the skull.
Love it.
Tell me when you're ready.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, we'll start with Kethus.
I got a 12.
A 12.
Yep.
Let me go ahead and get my... Okay. Allison?
14.
22.
Oh my god.
Ashurka?
3.
Sounds like a plate
Hell
armor
yeah,
night.
fighter.
Sounds like a plate armor night.
13.
Okay. All right.
Would you get me another one?
Me as well, please. Thank you.
Kethus the bartender.
Yeah, Kevin's the bartender. First up...
It's just away from the table, away from the party.
Yeah, fair enough. First up is going to be Cub.
All right.
You get the first round, buddy.
Excellent. So I'm going to start running over. And I can't necessarily reach this guy's face, so I'm going to go for the other area of a man that I know is.
Oh no! Going straight for the cheap shot.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Cub has been in the forest for eons. Not really,
So
but-
here's the way this would normally play out. These are very large men. You're a dwarf.
Mhm.
You're not a big guy in comparison. Under normal circumstances, you would have advantage on this attack. They don't really know how to fight a guy a third their size. They don't really know what to do here. They gotta like hunch over and like, do the old Popeye the Sailor fight where they just pop down at you. So they don't really know what to do. But you're screaming and they're already fighting a dwarf. So we're just gonna give you a straight roll on this one.
You know what, that's
So just
fair.
go ahead and give me a roll to hit.
Very fair. Okay, let's see.
You can add your regular attack modifier. I know
Okay.
none of you, except for Alistair, are proficient in fighting with your fists.
Okay.
So go ahead and add your normal... Oh, that's
barbarian.
right. That's right, you're a barbarian. But the rest of you can go ahead and add your base attack
Well,
modifier.
barbarian's just flat damage, right?
Yeah.
Sort
I
of,
don't
yeah.
roll for damage.
Okay.
That's an unnatural 20.
An unnatural 20. That's fantastic. So you're definitely going to land this hit, so go ahead and roll that d4, please.
So
Or actually, I don't believe you
it's
do,
just a,
because
it's
you're not
just a
proficient.
straight 4.
Yeah, so it's just a straight 4 damage? That's
Yep.
not bad, man. That's not bad at all.
Yeah.
Does anyone have a coin?
Yeah. Well, I have the.
That's perfect. Thank you. We're gonna see if punching a man full strength in the groin has an effect beyond just doing damage. Oh, well, hey, it still landed on the surface. All right. So you wind back, and you just instinctively, instead of going for the gut, you just go ahead and get a nice uppercut, and you watch as this guy hops up off the ground a little bit for a brief second, and his eyes just roll into the back of his head as he is now stunned from taking a colossal blow to a very fragile, soft region. He's not feeling good about this.
As I see this, Alistair is going to yell out, "Cub, do you have no honor?"
What's that?
We'd love to see it. Next up would actually be Captain Ballbusted. He's stunned, so he's just going to try his best to kind of fortify himself.
Thank you.
And he's going to fail miserably as now he kind of hunches over a little bit. He's not, thank you. He's not full on going prone, but he is definitely, he's just like, give me a minute, I need a moment. And he's just in clear, horrible, horrible pain. And his buddy is just laughing away. Thinks it's the best thing ever. Next up, Alistair, what's your dexterity?
17.
17? You are up next.
All right. Which one is closer? Or are they both about the same distance?
Probably ball busted.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry.
He's
Ball.
also stunned, so you have advantage.
Yeah. For flavor, I'm gonna go for a drop kick.
A drop kick.
Oh.
All right. Go ahead and roll to hit for me. Just give me a normal roll to hit.
That is 19.
Nice.
That definitely hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
7.
Ooh.
7 points of damage.
Oh.
We're gonna kill this.
That's a ruthless first hit. You're in a bar brawl. I just want to remind you. So you're not like fighting to kill
Yeah.
someone. You're just kind of like
I
putting
mean,
some hurting on.
hopefully he doesn't kill him.
Alistair
Drop
walked
kick.
in. It's just like, I fight for one thing and one thing only, and it's to end lives. Like, you come down with this hammering drop kick, and you catch him right in the collarbone, and you just watch all sentience just leave his body. He's definitely not dead, but like, nope, he's out. He just crumples and just falls to the ground, still holding himself. But he is out. He's done. Like, you just hit him for a colossal blow. Probably broke his collarbone.
And then I'll point to the next guy. I'm just like, "Are you fucking ready?"
Go ahead and, for shits and giggles, roll an intimidation
Yeah.
check.
Just knocked out 2 people.
Because you've got, well, here's the thing. You've got a massive barbarian next to you. You have a heavily armored half-orc knight next to you. This guy just got his testicles exploded and his collarbone broken. This isn't a good fight.
Yeah.
Like, this is going poorly.
I got a 12
You got a 12.
for intimidation. Yeah.
I rolled an 11.
Amazing.
He immediately hands up and said, all right, look. I want to start a family. Please. No more of the low blows, please. Just let me go. I'll drag my friends out of here. We'll leave tonight. I'll take them out. Please. Are we good? I'll even pay damages. And he slides a purse full of gold onto the bar and he's like, please, just let us go. I really want to have kids.
I cross my arms. And I'm just like, get him.
He just grabs his friends and just drags them. And the one guy who started the fight just bashing his head against every chair on the way out, like making no effort to like. He's not even trying. He's just in pure fear, just sprinting out here, dragging these two big guys, bashing their skulls the whole way down. At this point, you watch as you're now realizing that the bar was set quite low, and you see a very dark-skinned and hauntingly familiar dwarf woman poke her head over the bar and just go, are they done? Is that all?
Unless anyone else wants to start a fight, and I look around the room.
All the patrons are just roaring with laughter at this point. This is the best thing they've ever seen.
The dwarf that was on the ground that they initially kind of roughed up, I'm going to go help him up.
Okay.
And like try and pickpocket him as I do.
So first off, Kethus just appears. Just appears out of nowhere for you guys. Like
When
he's
did
just
you
like,
get here?
Where did you get here?
Cub is gonna be like, wow.
Ilva literally asks, when did you get here?
Been here the whole time.
Oops, I just crumpled notes that I need because I thought they were initiative order.
Uh-oh.
That's okay. ADHD brain doesn't work. ADD, whichever. Don't remember. I was diagnosed with one. Doesn't
They're
matter.
the same thing today.
They are the same thing today. Kethus, go ahead and give me a sleight of hand. And Ilva, you were going to say something?
Does this resemblance remind me of a new friend of mine who is sadly no longer with us?
She is the spitting image of Bryn.
Okay.
Looks almost like they could be identical twins. Just a little more feminine.
Ilva just walks up and extends a hand. Says, Hilda?
Indeed. Hilda.
Ilva.
Ilva. I think I can remember that.
Great.
It's a pleasure to meet you. You've done a good job here. I really appreciate it. I kind of wish maybe you hadn't smashed my bar in with that man's skull, but also, that's pretty fucking funny. So,
It'll be a good story.
it will be a, you know what? It'll
It
be a
adds
good,
character.
a selling point. I love where your mind's at. Smart lass. What did you roll?
19.
19.
Going for the coin purse.
This guy had very little on him, and you get every bit of it.
Okay.
got 9 copper pieces, 8 silver pieces, and a small, dull silver ring. But as you help him up, he kind of pats your shoulders. He's like, thank you. Appreciate the help. Think they were a little sour with me over some comments I might have made. Doesn't matter. Thank you. I appreciate it. He kind of wipes a little bit of blood off, and then you notice, like, as he's wiping, just soot. Just tons of soot and ash just coming off of this guy. He wipes up clean. He's like, sorry, I might have got you a little dirty there, friend. Appreciate the assist.
I'm used to it. You're welcome.
Thanks again. With Hilda, you were having a conversation.
Yes. Well, I'm really glad that we could help you out. It is an honor to meet you. I wish the circumstances were a little better, but I think we should tell you now. And, like, looks to the rest of the party, wherever they might be.
As you're starting this conversation, Yut walks in behind you, and it's just beaming. Just ear-to-ear grin, and as she smiles, she's missing, like, the entire right side of her inner jaw. It's just gone.
Yeah.
It looks like that along with the huge scar and the missing eye, looks like she took a pretty meaty blow at one point. So the teeth just end right here, and it's just empty, kind of scarred gum.
That's a fantastic.
A little bit of exposed bone and sharp, like, jagged tufts. It's pretty rough.
Looks like so she's
Oh,
missing
boy.
some jaw.
You can't really tell when the mouth is closed, as she appears to have a strong enough jawline that it kind of holds itself mostly in shape, but like the upper jaw has a bunch that was like caved out, and there's like no teeth or gum. It's just kind of bone and kind of sore flesh and scarred tissue. But she's beaming, just very satisfied with you right now. Hilda, on the other hand, looks a little confused, hesitant, and kind of looks to all of you with stunningly blue eyes.
I just feel like I would be mad if someone waited till the end of the conversation to tell me what I need to tell you. And this is a weird way to meet someone, so I just want it to be known that I am aware of that.
I'm gonna walk up and kind of like stand next to Ilva, but also like kind of step around her and put my hand on the bar and say, "Your brother died."
Jesus.
But we buried him, and
We buried him on the beach, and if you want, we can go get him and bring.
Oh no.
Well, do you want him or do you want the crab? Because we buried the crab too. I don't think that we can get a live crab that could be him now. I don't know how the crabs work, but they'd also died. Do you want any of that?
So she kind of visibly like takes a breath, like pausing for a moment. Right. Let's start with drinks. Drinks good? Maybe we start with drinks. And she immediately just doesn't even wait for a response. She just puts out tankards for each of you. Nice earthenware tankards. And fills them all with a clear golden liquid that immediately just smells of wildflowers. She fills them all to the brim. Kind of downs hers real quick. And just looks back at all of you and is like, I sort of thought Grim had kicked the bucket. Twins, you have a sense for these things. I appreciate what you did for him. He was a misbegotten but good lad. He meant well. I hope he at least saw you to port safely.
Well, we are all alive.
Safely. And
Yes.
she just continues drinking. Kind of ignoring.
For the most part.
She looks at all of you and she's like, if you don't mind me asking, where exactly did you bury him?
It was about a mile out in whatever direction on the compass.
Okay. Good to know. I may see to that. But I appreciate the thought and the gesture. And I understand it's always hard to bring bad tidings to a new place. But I appreciate your honesty and forthrightness. For that, as far as I'm concerned, and for saving me bar from these louts, you all have earned your stay. There's 2 rooms upstairs, they're yours, for as long as you're here. Free of charge.
Thank you.
Thank you. It may be bad news, but it's news that I appreciate getting. I can begin getting my closure now. And she takes another drink. At that, hearing the tone of the conversation change, the beam kind of leaves Yot's face. But she steps up behind you nonetheless and kind of gives you, Ylva, and you, Asherka, a meaty slap on the back. Just like, both of you are big ladies, and it's still enough to like kind of throw you a little bit. And you're just like, Jesus. And she just gives you a couple of these big meaty slaps. Just like, I figured y'all could do it just fine. I appreciate the help. I didn't want to have to deal with these louts myself.
And then Alizar's kind of looking at Zhao, like, not want to seem like a gloating kind of person, just, or boasting, just kind of lets it happen, even though he knows he did all the work.
Luckily, Yut wasn't in the room for this, so
Yeah.
Yut has no idea who did what, but Yut is definitely assuming that the two beefy lasses, did all of the work. I don't know why I said lads. I even started it off by saying lasses.
Because we do both have British schoolboy energy.
That's fair. You do both have British schoolboy energy. That's valid. That's a good point. I figure I sort of promised you guys drinks and food. Hilda, if you're feeling up to it, I heard the unfortunate news they brought to you, but I did promise them. Right away, Marshall, right away. And she kind of steps into the kitchen, and you can hear the sounds of pots and pans. And as you guys are kind of standing there, downing your drinks to whatever degree, you do see another kind of much lighter-skinned dwarf man come out. He's surprisingly very handsome. He's got golden hair that's slicked back and very clean and well-groomed. He's got a beautiful bushy beard that has these golden and white wildflowers weaved into it. And he's got these long runic tattoos that go up all the left side of his body that you can see. He's wearing like a pretty finely made silken tunic with like leather work pants and pretty decent shoes. He's got a bunch of like shiny jewelry on his fingers, a lot of rings that are silver and gold. So he looks like he's of money. And he kind of walks through and refills all of your tankards. Doesn't really seem to be saying much.
Any runes familiar that I saw on Captain Graham?
Give me a history check. With advantage. Recent history.
19.
19. Operating under the assumption that this is Broke, the language that Grimm told you was the language of the people of Nordheim, it looks like Broke is mostly picture-based. At least their tattoos are mostly picture-based. You have yet to really see anything that resembles a word, or a letter, or even a number. It all seems to be some sort of rough representation of a creature, or a person, or an item, things of that nature. The one that pops up that you've definitely seen on Grimm is one that is the jaws of a wolf wrapping around the sun.
As he refills my drink, I'll make a comment saying, I recognize that tattoo from the past. I'm so sorry, but Hildegram and...
It's Hilda and Grimm.
Hilda and Grimm. Okay.
Yeah. Grimm is the first name.
Okay, cool. So I'll say, I recognize Grimm had that same tattoo. I never asked what it means. May I get that information from you?
As you're speaking, he doesn't seem to acknowledge you at all. It's not... You don't necessarily feel like you're being ignored, but he never looks at you, never looks in your direction, nothing of that sort. At one point, his eyes happen to travel across your way, and he sees your mouth moving, and immediately starts paying attention to you. Mm-hmm. You kind of repeat yourself real quick, thinking maybe he was just busy, and he immediately starts signing very quickly. Okay. Starts making quick signing motions in your direction. What's your intelligence again?
Intelligence is...
Over 12?
Yeah, over 12.
Perfect. So just... You have absolutely no trouble understanding this. You've seen signs spoken before. No issue at all. And he begins to kind of explain to you that it's an old legend that the people of Nordheim are very fond of. It doesn't really have too much meaning anymore. It's just a story they like to tell. Something about a wolf eating the sun. A hero getting too big for his britches.
And we've heard a story.
Yeah, you did hear the song of this.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We did, okay. Those are my other notes.
Yeah. So it seems to be a popular tale. It's something that you've heard recurring of the hero who got a little bit too voracious and too hungry for glory and eventually tried to consume the sun.
And there's multiple
in the legend, yeah. He seems to be represented or depicted as a wolf. Sometimes he's depicted as a man who just somehow monstrously unhinges his own jaw. But the two times you've heard it, he's been described as being wolf-like as he consumes the sun.
I'll raise my tankard that he just recently filled, nod my head, and take a sip as a thank you gesture.
Yeah, he smiles back at you and just signs, hope you're enjoying it.
As I chug it all, no, I'm not going to chug it all down, but take a good sip.
As you all are drinking this, the only person here that doesn't need to do this would be Ilva. I'm going to need everyone else to give me a Constitution save.
No?
Ilva, you've had something similar to this before. You're pretty sure you can even identify what this is. You think it's mead. You're pretty sure it's mead. Your people make a very similar product to this. Taste varies and the strength varies, but you're pretty sure it's mead, and you're used to mead having a bit of a punch. You guys take a sip of this expecting beer or ale. Nice. Expecting beer or ale, and what you get is basically a light liqueur. You know, it's a kind of a cross between wine and cider. It's got this sweet, earthy tones to it, a floral note in the back. It's really a delightful drink, but it's pretty strong. So, Kethus rolled a 4.
I rolled a 7.
You rolled a 7. Good start, guys.
13.
13. Cup.
And 10.
10. Wow, guys, the DC was 15, so literally none of you can handle your alcohol.
Except
Alger's a
Ilva.
monk. He's used to
Wait,
tea.
just really quick. How old is everyone?
Yeah, out of curiosity, how old is everyone, roughly?
I
don't need
imagine
those.
Alistar just recently came out of his monastery training, so I'd say around 24, kind of like...
Early
college.
20s.
Yeah.
Cub, you might not know, actually.
Cub actually doesn't
Yeah.
know.
I was going to say, Cub probably has no idea, but from your description, probably mid-20s-ish, somewhere in that range.
Could be.
You know.
I'd say I'm 37.
Yeah,
Okay.
Tack on an extra 100.
as I say.
Sure. Yeah.
And for an elf, still young,
Very young.
so you're not very old either. Ashurka, how old are you, roughly?
Early 20s, about 22-ish
That's
is what I
it.
have.
You're pretty young, and you took to this drink like youngins and just poured it back, and immediately were like, oh no. Everyone who rolled over a 10, you don't get any visceral response to it, but you're drunk. So going forward for the rest of this conversation, should any skill checks need to be made, you'll be making them at disadvantage. Charisma checks, however, persuasion, deception, will be made with advantage. Anyone who rolled under a 10, go ahead and roll and see if you can find a place to throw up that isn't rude.
So you said over 10 is kind of fine and under 10.
So 10 and over
10
would be
and
the
over.
threshold, yeah. What'd you roll? A 1? Excellent.
14.
14. Kethus, you're pretty used to hiding your discretions, so you just quickly and casually just kind of do the whole nasty college trick we've all done, where you definitely puke, but you keep your mouth closed and you just champ through it. Like, nothing happened. It's fine. It's fine. Alistair, on the other hand, you spin in your stool and just unload right into the middle of the bar. And Hilda comes out and is just... Alright. And just turns around and walks away, presumably looking for a mop.
Cub is
As
going-
she turns around, I'll just say, they don't have this at the monastery.
Cub is going to just kind of like very loudly, drunkenly say, I didn't do it.
Actually, point of order. Yut is standing directly behind you guys.
Uh-oh.
Deck save.
Natural 20, so Yut's fine.
Okay,
Yut didn't
cool.
get puked on. But that could have been a fun encounter.
Oh, I beat up the other two. She'd be
Maybe you'd be a one-hitter quitter.
Hilda's gonna follow after Hilda.
Okay.
And offer to clean it up. All things considered.
Hilda thankfully accepts your offer and hands you a mop and a bucket.
I've got a strong stomach.
Yeah. But other than that, you guys are enjoying your drinks. Yut stands behind you and goes through the process of asking each of you your names, after which she introduces herself properly. The name is Yut. Yut Half-Fist. I'm the marshal of these parts. It's my job to maintain order, discipline, and the word of my Jarl. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm a, shall we say, admirer of those who act when called upon. I appreciate your speed of action. Thank you. I have a suspicion that I may have use for you moving forward. Does that sound interesting?
You got it, boss.
You are drunk, so feel free to
I
interpret
think-
that as you wish.
I think we would be happy to do work for you, provided there is compensation, of course.
I'd want money.
Fair. I always pay for my work. I did treat you, after all. I'm a woman of my word. I like to stick to it. And I like people that are the same. Reliable. Can you be relied upon?
They saw me fucking knock out those two motherfuckers. You can ask them what they think about me.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my gosh. Alistair's so drunk.
She turns to Ashirka and Cub, who haven't really spoken. What about you two? Can you be relied upon?
I'll help.
I have been relied.
That is a confusing response, but I'll take it as an affirmative, because I like you. She'll turn and kind of lean back and kind of gesture to the stools at the bar and imply that you guys have a seat with her. As you guys sit down, Hilda herself comes out and takes another seat at the bar with you as well, and seems to be conversing in sign with the male dwarf on the other side of the bar, but then shortly joins in your discussion, as Yut begins to explain to you. We've been having a wee bit of a problem in town lately. I believe Hilda could use your help. You guys seemed to be eager to help her earlier, so I figure maybe there's a good chance you'll help her out now. And believe me, the Jarl will also be appreciative of those who assist in the order of his town. But I digress. Hilda, if you'd like to explain your issues. And she starts to enjoy her own drink. Hilda speaks up and mentions that her stores have been going mysteriously dry. First it was just dried meat, which started to disappear. Then it was grains. Then it was beer. Then it was mead. And now her stores for winter are coming dangerously low. And she explains that in a place like this, not having enough for winter means death. There is no middle ground. There is no relying on your neighbor. You must tend to yourself. Winters can last months, years in some cases. Losing my stores could mean I die. I starve. Or worse, the town starves, as usually my stores are the backup for the rest of the town. Someone is skimming off the top. And so far, it's not enough to kill us. But it is hurting. We need this to stop. Now, we've seen some strange figures leaving town late at night. But we've never been able to catch them, or follow their tracks much further than a couple miles outside of town towards the forests. We don't typically like to explore the Mirror Pier at night. Or, frankly, in the day. It's, all in all, best avoided. But, again, food is nothing to scoff at here. Winter is on its way. Can you help us? We'll pay you well.
If it's tracking you need doing, then I can do it.
Ashirka.
What is the Merkshire?
The Mirror Pier. It's the forest. About 2 miles outside town. Local legend suggests that it's haunted. I'm not really one to test old stories.
Who's haunting us?
I have no idea. I don't test old stories.
But the legend doesn't say.
It says
Not a
it's
very good
haunted and
legend.
children die in there a lot.
Okay, well, it's a scary legend, but it's not well fleshed out.
I'll file your
It's
deepest
okay.
complaints to Eagle.
Oh, good.
We're not children.
Eagle's an old friend.
At this, almost seemingly Beetlejuice summoned, you do hear the familiar tread and clunk of those tires or those wheels, I should say, as they enter the tavern, easily ascending the ramp that almost seems to have been made with Eagle in mind. Eagle rolls on in and says, "What's this now of my stories?
I've got some notes.
I suppose I'm always open to criticism."
I already forgot.
It's not fleshed out.
Yeah, it's just not very well fleshed out, this one that was just being told to us that Ilva remembers
Well,
how to describe.
look, I can only do... Look, it's hard to come up with tales when they're based in old stories. Sometimes you have to embellish or you just skip over some bits.
He said old history books are hard to come by.
That they are. Books in general, very difficult to find.
He can't come up with everything by himself.
I like this man.
Well,
Give an old man some breathing room.
And Alistar's just trying to keep himself up in his chair.
A wise, wise young lad. He pats you on the side and steadies you a little bit.
I pat him back, not to like as a thing, just like try to get more stability.
Yeah. We will pay you well. But we need this look too.
is there anywhere in town that we should start looking? I assume that we agree. It's clearly a problem that we can solve. I mean, look how easy it was to handle that whole fight.
How do you feel about it, guys?
Alistar gives, or he's gonna say, "I'll do anything for this town."
You hear Yot say, "Here, here."
And then I'll turn to you and just like, "Yeah, by the way, I want to see how you fight. We should go about it one day."
I don't kill my friends.
Well, we won't kill, just some sparring.
You might not kill. And she cracks these massive, meaty knuckles.
I do the same, but it's sloppy drunk.
You hear like this tiny little like bubble wrap popping noise, and then you hear this like creaking oak wood noise. It's pretty clear what the implication is here.
Alistar isn't picking it up at all.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable in the woods, and if there's money, then I'm willing.
Eagle kind of speaks up and says, "I brought them here to do work. They'll do work. Of course you'll help, right?" He kind of looks at you all as if to say, "You don't get to say no. You're gonna help, thanks." And he looks around, seeing that no one is actively dissenting against him. He says, "What did I say? I would deliver unto us heroes." And Hilda kind of goes, yeah, and Yot makes the same gesture and just kind of swats her hand. "We've heard that word a few too many times out of your mouth, old man."
Elvis stands taller and then kind of shrinks back down a little bit.
What's a hero?
Eagle kind of rolls up to you real quick and is like, "Someone who does great things. Now act the part."
Okay.
As the conversation is going, you guys notice that the patrons start to flow back in again, and the town seems to be kind of resuming, or the tavern, I'm sorry, seems to be kind of resuming its normal pace. Kind of filling up, customers coming in. The dwarf speaking in signs seems to be rushing back and forth, kind of trying to see to everyone's needs. Hilda looks to each of you and just says, "Well, if you've agreed to help, it's likely the Jarl will want to speak with you. But if you'd rather just get to work, there's a storehouse about 100 yards to the west. Can't miss it. I'd start there." Yot kind of speaks up and it's just like, "I'd suggest seeing the Jarl, but might be nice to show up with a notch under your belt already."
What time of day is it?
It's getting pretty late.
Okay.
It's probably like 3 p.m., 4 p.m.
Okay. And we're staying here tonight?
Free of
Can we
charge.
sleep here? Great.
As long as you need,
Great.
Hilda says.
Maybe we could check that out and then back. Do we have feelings?
Here. Let's go investigate.
Maybe we'll get you a glass of water and a
Yeah.
cup of coffee first.
Is the Jarl available at all times?
Not at all times, but he likes to see newcomers.
You have to like schedule an appointment.
Might be best.
Should we schedule for tomorrow morning? Is it too late? Like how far?
I can see to it if you'd like to meet him tomorrow.
Sounds
We got a date
fine to me.
tomorrow.
Great.
So you guys agree?
Yeah.
Yacht will just kind of make a mental note and be like, I'll make sure it's ready. Tomorrow morning, we'll say 2 hours after dawn.
Sure.
Come to the longhouse.
Easy enough.
Eagle kind of speaks up and is like, be sure to be back here later this evening. I tell tales around the fire for the whole town. It's quite the show.
How long after dusk?
Oh, once the sun is firmly down.
Okay.
Well then, I'm gonna bend down and like pick up a couple ball bearings that are on the ground, and I'm ready to move out.
I grab a cup of water.
Yeah, there's already a tankard of just fresh water just sitting there waiting for you.
Chug down. Just slapping myself.
Cup.
If there's water for Cub, he'll take it too.
Yep. Ashurka?
I'm gonna turn to Eagle and say, "You said that you have lodging for my horse."
We do indeed have lodging for your horse. Hilda, show the fine people the lodging for their... What was the animal's name?
Strawberry.
For Strawberry. And Hilda kind of walks you out and shows you that around the back of the tavern, there is actually a long stable that wraps around. And it's pretty well outfitted. Looks like it's even braced for winter chill. It's got like furs hanging up on the walls. So it looks like it's a pretty cozy place. There's even a brazier in the corner that kind of provides this nice, like, rotating heat. So, pretty nice space.
Fancy.
Yeah. Strawberry looks like they're going to be pretty comfortable. Silva? You ready to go?
Oh yeah. I'm standing by the door.
Okay. Hilda provides slightly more detailed instructions, explaining that a little ways to the west, up the hill, you'll see an outbuilding, kind of similar to a barn. That's the storehouse. That's where they recommend that you begin your search.
Okay.
Take it away.
I'll start heading in those directions, following them. Is this direction or the area that they pointed us towards heavily populated, or...
It seems to be on the outskirts of town. As you guys are walking towards it, there is one small outbuilding that looks like it's probably a guard post, as there is one guard leaning up against it, but it is just one guard.
Yep.
Other than that, it's just that one small building that looks just big enough to house a singular room, and the outbuilding, which is a large kind of barn with a double-stacked straw roof.
Is this in the direction that we came in, or opposite?
It's opposite.
Okay, so...
It's not quite... If you guys came in essentially from the south, so it's not quite directly on the opposite, but it's kind of like 11 o'clock.
Okay. And beyond it would be more land, right?
It'd be open land. It's meadows.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go up. The guard post is nearby.
Yeah, pretty close to you. I'd say about 100 yards.
Okay. I'll go up and ask the guard. So have you seen the figures over there? I'll point towards the storehouse.
The guard you approach is less of a guard and a kid wearing his dad's armor. He's probably 15, 16 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Barely little bits of scruff hanging off his chin. You know, he's holding the spear kind of awkwardly. Looks like he's struggling a little bit with the shield. And the armor does not fit. It's like 2 sizes too big. He looks to you, voice cracking a few times. He's just like, I didn't see much of anything. I just kind of hang out and, you know, wait.
noticeably have a coin purse on him?
Yes, definitely. It is not hidden at all either. It's classic child, just hanging right on the front.
Okay. I'm gonna take out a silver piece.
Yeah.
I'm gonna flick it between my fingers and have it disappear. And then, as I lean in to like put it behind his ear, I'm gonna grab the coin purse and pull out the silver piece and give it to him.
Can we slide a hand
Amazing.
as you trade a nickel for a bag of money?
16.
16. Ooh. Can I get that coin flip again?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
I need something. You can hold on to it if you want to.
Flipped it. He's gonna, as you pull the coin away from his ear, he just instinctively puts a hand on his purse and just looks at you and he's like, Eagle got me with the same trick. Not again.
It's funny.
Okay. No, quite useless. I'll turn back to the party and say that.
Ouch. The kid, you, all the parties see him visibly like shrink a little.
So I turned to Alistair, or I turned to him and was like, he's still young, he has plenty to learn.
He saw nothing.
The kid is just hanging his head.
I turned to the kid, one mistake does not mean you're bad. Stay vigilant.
Yes, sir. And kind of just watches after you guys as you just leave him to contemplate his ineffectiveness. Jesus.
Just audibly to Alistair, though. The one mistake will get you killed.
What's the road like leading to and from this storehouse?
It's kind of rough. I mean, it's clearly been trodden. Like, this is clearly a path that is taken with some regularity, but it's not a path that was carved out like the main street was. So there's still a little bit of grass growing. Some of the wildflowers are encroaching a little bit upon the path. But it is a clearly defined, like, almost like a footpath.
Okay. So would it be safe to assume that people who trek this would trek mud into the storehouse? Or would it be more kind of like grass and dirt?
They probably would. You're actually getting far enough away from the beach now that you're starting to get into the kind of loamy, like half dirt, half sand soil. So it's this like kind of strange combination of that almost pebble-like black sand and thick brown clay-like mud. So almost definitely, yeah, there'd be some mud tracks left behind.
Okay. Well, that's unfortunate.
Any windows up top?
No windows. There's a purely wooden structure. No windows. The only form of egress seems to be a large set of double doors.
We have fully approached the...
At this point, you're within about 20 yards.
I'm just walking toward the door.
Yeah, we'll walk towards it.
Yep.
I'm not looking for anything.
Yeah, you're fine. It's a large barn. Seems to be made out of a combination of like hardwood and driftwood. Kind of looks like it was erected out of necessity, not out of an attempt to make a fine structure. Like I said, it's got a double stacked thatch roof, which is probably to keep out as much moisture as is humanly possible. The thatched roof does appear to be soaked pretty regularly, so it also appears to be semi-fire retardant. Other than that, nondescript.
And when we get up there, is there like a padlock on the door, or?
As of right now, there is no padlock. However, there are the clear indication of chains, so it looks like it's the type of thing that gets locked up on a nightly basis.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna start opening the door.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Opening up, you see a fairly well-stocked storehouse. The floor is dirt with a little bit of hay scattered about, but there's stacks of grain, casks of mead, hanging cured meats, tobacco, all the products that you would need to survive a cold, bitter winter.
Are there door marks? Like, does the door make marks on the ground?
Yes.
As it opens?
Yeah, it definitely leaves like that swinging indication in the mud and the dirt.
Okay.
Cub isn't going in just yet. What he wants to do is he wants to kind of go around the storehouse and then look out across the scenery and gauge an idea of what would be the best path somebody would need to come down or approach the building that it would be hard for them to be seen.
Okay. This is firmly within your expertise. So you kind of reach a nice point where you can overlook the land, and you're currently on a hill overlooking another kind of depression in this series of what you can now see are a few miles of rolling hills. It's almost like a sea, a golden sea, dotted here and there with these gemstones of wildflower patches. They come in colors of white, yellow, gold, blue, purple. Just beautiful dots and patches of these almost islands of color and of life. Going past the sea, that is the grass. Sorry, I got a little too stuck in my metaphor there. You kind of see shrubbery start to turn into overgrowth, starts to turn into bramble, which starts to turn into this dense, knotted, thick and gnarled, dark-treed forest. It's kind of a mix of what looks like oak and pine. All of these trees have somehow knotted together in these strange, gnarled, twisted shapes that kind of, almost from this distance, look like they're forming a wall. This forest goes on for many, many miles. At best, your eye can see anywhere from 5 to 10. Kind of tough to get a gauge as the land starts to kind of slope up and off into mountainous landscapes.
And what's the distance between the storehouse and the start of the woods?
Probably about a mile and a half. The woods are kind of framed by this effervescent mist that kind of ekes out of the tops of the trees and out of the trunks. And it's very clearly moving with the breeze, which gives it the indication and the appearance as if almost like the trees are kind of slowly sinking into some sort of white and tumultuous sea. As the forest kind of tithers off a little bit into the mountains, you see these like two particular mountains that really stand out. The closest one, probably anywhere from 10 to 15 miles at best guess, is this massive sentinel-like peak. It stands almost alone. All the other smaller mountains in the range that is attached to are much, much smaller and kind of wind off to the north. And this huge, huge peak goes up so high that it crests through the clouds. And it's this deep, deep shade of cobalt and purple as it kind of ascends like this just massive wall into the sky. In fact, looking at it from even this distance, at first glance, you almost don't see it. It almost tricks your mind into thinking you're looking at the horizon. It's not until you kind of, rectify with your mind that, hey, it's daytime. The horizon's golden right now, and you're like, that's a mountain. Holy crap. That large mountain kind of subsides into a mountain range that curves up north and forms a wall to the north of Holbrick and goes all the way to the sea. As you are scanning this horizon, you do see kind of... It's subtle, so it takes you a moment to get over this vista, but you start to see an almost carved path in this sea of golden grain. You're pretty confident in saying it's some sort of footpath, and it leads all the way to the wood. It's also definitely recent, as there are little splotches of grass that seem to be interrupting this path.
Okay.
Any more, you'd probably have to investigate further.
Okay. How far is it away?
Like I said, this distance covers about a mile and a half.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, okay. A couple keep that in the back of his mind for the time being.
Okay.
Door opens, right? And what kind of supplies are inside again?
So the stuff that immediately catches your eye is pretty common stuff. Lots of casks, big old kegs and casks of ale and mead. Lots of hanging salted meat hanging from the ceiling. There's mason jars that look to be most likely filled with pickled vegetables. There's a lot of root vegetables set off in a corner off the ground, like turnips, potatoes, carrots, things of that nature. Things that can last for a good amount of time. A lot of grains, and then there's even a couple of boxes set aside that look like they're probably hardtack, which maybe are some sort of emergency ration. Stores of lard, salt, things like that. A couple of dried fish, very large fish. In fact, one of note, to you in particular, I'd say Kethus and probably Alistair. You guys look, and one of the fish that's hanging drying is definitely a shark. You've seen sharks. This is definitely a shark. But it has wings. And it's pretty massive, as only half of its body is hanging from two of these just huge wrought iron hooks. And it seems to be salted and dried, but it's the upper half of a shark's body with large reptilian wings coming off of it.
From my studies at the monastery, would I have heard of a beast like this?
Definitely not. This is something that you would only imagine seeing in nightmares.
Okay.
Is this
I was about to
something,
say.
though, that anyone who's inside would see?
Yeah.
Not necessarily recognize
Yep.
it as a shark,
This
but
this hangs right in the entrance. It's just hanging with the rest of the dried meat, and it's very shriveled and desiccated. Looks like it's been hanging for quite some time.
does it remind me of any sort of, like, religious fables or tales I might have heard with, like, religious intonation?
Nothing religious. Go ahead and give me a nature check for that.
Okay. It's a 3 for a 5.
5. Yeah, you're fairly certain that whatever this thing is some sort of freak of nature. You have no idea. You've never heard of anything like this. And honestly, thinking of a shark that flies is kind of nightmare fuel, so you don't really want to think about it too much.
Nightmare fuel is canon. That is a phrase in this world.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But it's hanging with the rest of the meat. And actually, looking at the wings, looks like bits have been taken off of the wings. So it looks like it's probably was a whole beast at one point, and this might just be all that's left.
Perhaps something to ask Hilda about. Oh, I had an idea. And it might be a little silly.
We love silly ideas.
But what if we don't all leave here when we head back to the, like, what if some of us hide in here
I'll
all
turn
night?
To Kethus.
Yeah. Sounds like a Kethus thing.
Like, you could, like, sleep, but, you know, you would hear if someone came in, maybe, somehow. I feel like you're always on alert.
Maybe we could get you some extra pay. Show extra initiative.
I could stay with you.
This, and he like gestures to all this stuff in here. This would be extra pay enough.
That's true, we could eat.
I plan on it.
Well, I think the whole point of us working is to make sure that the supplies stay here.
It's one piece
Yes,
of salted meat.
but, like, we're making sure that no one steals anything, but, like, we'll have dinner.
Okay.
They can't steal it if I've eaten it.
Because, you know, dinner is going to be in a couple of hours, and you guys will be back over there, and we'll still be in here. So we need dinner, too.
I'll stand outside as guard, if anything.
No,
Oh.
that's, we want them to still approach and come in, and then we get them.
Understood.
You know what I mean? Or if there's too many of them, we hide. We stay quiet.
This is also only the first of however many storehouses. Who's
Well-
to say that they go for this one tonight?
Then we're undisturbed, and it's the same as if we
More
slept.
food for us.
Yeah.
Good.
Alistair just puts his hand in his face.
We get paid in food anyway.
I like your plan.
We're not gonna be ridiculous.
Shirka, Cub? Any input? We okay with this plan?
So, I was waiting to see if Shirka said anything. Cub is going to chime in and say, I think I found maybe a place where they come from, so I'm going to stake that out.
Fallon?
Oh.
Alistair will volunteer to go as Code's backup.
Is Ashirka just taking Strawberry back?
Ashika is very upset at the idea of stealing when we've been hired to keep people from stealing. And so I'm, on the one hand, wanting to get in a fight about that, but also, but then how are we going to catch them if we don't hide here? But if they're hiding here and stealing things, then are we supposed to catch the ones that are hiding here because they're stealing things? But
We're not
so
going
she
to
is trying to
steal.
figure out where she's supposed to go with this.
We're not going to steal more than we would eat at the inn. The tavern? Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it. Interchangeable. I use them interchangeably.
Yeah, me too.
I don't think they are, but I use them interchangeably.
I believe an inn has somewhere you can
Yeah,
sleep.
I think an inn and a tavern are two very different things, but
Yeah.
I think they're the same thing. So that's how we're going with it.
Are there any boxes or bags or anything here that look like they have like obviously been like rifled through or had things taken out of them?
Give me an investigation check.
Okay. That's over here.
Kind of similar to that. I want to see if anything looks like it's been dragged in a certain direction.
You would have to follow the path. Are you okay with that?
I will wait until we break for doing our separate stakeouts.
Okay. So a shirka?
I rolled a 1.
A 1.
We are
Man,
doing
that
great
that
tonight.
nightmare fish thing is just really distracting. Whatever that is, that big thing with teeth that flies, you don't want to ever see a live one.
Fair.
If you are brave enough to stay in here with that, you can eat whatever you want. I will be out here.
Well, it's not nighttime yet.
No.
Did you want to pursue your path, Cub?
While there's still light, I would like to check it out, yes.
Do you want us to go with you? Do you want like all of us to?
You're more than welcome, but if they're watching us, they may get suspicious if all of us start walking towards them.
That's
Okay. How do you want to do this?
So I know that these two volunteered to come with me, so I think that would be good enough. For
It's a
the
good little
party.
scouting party.
Yeah.
Okay. And while they're doing that, Shirka, Ilva, what do you guys want to do?
Wait. Is Kethus going with you?
I believe so.
Until nightfall.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Great.
For the time being. Yes.
Sorry, I misunderstood.
It's fine.
Uh,
If you guys would like, I need to use the restroom.
yeah.
So you guys would like
a
to take
break
like
would be great.
we can go ahead and take our break right now. We're not going to stop the stream to everyone watching. We're just going to take about probably like a 15-minute break, just so everyone can go to the bathroom, refresh their drinks, maybe grab a bite, talk about plans, anything like that. So we're just going to mute on our end, or at least hopefully mute on our end. I forgot to figure out how to do that.
Excellent.
But we're going to
Just
go ahead and
unplug
mute on
the
our
mic.
end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could just unplug the mic. But we'll be right back in about 15 minutes, maybe 20 tops. But hopefully you guys are having as much fun as we are so far. Woo! See you in a little bit.
Yes.
Cool. So we're muted, I believe. I'm gonna It froze. Oh no.
Oh no.
Who's still moving though?
No. There we go. my stream briefly froze there on me. I was like, uh-oh.
Whoops.
We'll probably be coming back here in a moment, guys. Everyone's kind of winding down, getting their drinks, getting refills, and then we'll be good to go. Thank you to everyone who's stuck with us. Hope you guys are enjoying the stream. Hope you guys, my players, hope you guys are enjoing the game.
I'm having
Absolutely.
so much fun right now.
We should probably message Rain, because I realize Rain has no idea that we're all just like,
good
oh yeah,
point.
we're good.
Yeah, you know what?
I'll
That's fair.
message Rain.
Yeah, and be like, hey, so we're coming back.
I didn't need you here.
Or is Tapir really back?
Let me know how you like it because I'm a big fan.
You really like it? I keep seeing it and I'm like, let me try it.
I think everyone here likes stouts besides me.
I genuinely
Oh, I love stouts.
told Alex that I was buying it because I liked the lady on the bottle.
The siren.
It's okay. I was also told like 8 times in a row last night that you really thought our server was cute.
I said it twice.
The server is cute?
Yeah, we went out for lunch
Oh.
yesterday.
Oh, I
Alex
thought the same
and I.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was cute.
When I was thinking server, I'm thinking nerd ass shit. Like, what, you mean the router?
No.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, it
waitress.
is a cute modem. Not gonna lie.
She was cute.
Oh, Rain's here. Alright, guys. I don't see any reason to put this off any further. I think all of us are good. Rain, you good? Alright. Let's pick up. We were starting off with your split the party plan, where one of you guys were going to go check out the path, the other we're going to hang around and maybe investigate the barn a little bit better. So we'll pick up with the away team. You guys want to go ahead and Cub? Take it away.
Alright. Found what looks like a footpath that these people could have used to steal the foods.
Alright. Well, I guess we should look for any recently matted grass. Which, I will do just like look for the most freshly stepped on grass.
I'm also going to look for what I said earlier, those markings that could have been left by things
Yeah.
being dragged.
You go ahead and give me regular investigation. Or actually, no, we'll give you survival on that one. Give me a regular survival roll.
Sure.
You'll give me a survival with disadvantage.
Well, at least I'm what's it called? Proficient, you know. And that's not bad.
14.
14?
17.
17. Okay, cool. We'll start with you. Alistair, pretty clear to see, walking along this path, that this has probably been trotted upon within the last few days here. Like, a lot of this is grass that's, like, kind of managed to unclump itself over time a little bit for having not been stepped on, but it's pretty clear that this path was quickly becoming overgrown and is now suddenly seeing use again. Cub, you look for a little bit of time, and you're having a hard time precisely because of the nature of the fact that this does seem like a path that's slowly being reclaimed from overgrowth. But you do start to detect the signs of what looks like sacks that have probably been dragged. And while you're looking for these drag marks, you see one singular set of footprints that looks like it wasn't properly wiped away. They look like paw pads.
And they look like they were wiped away.
They look like it's pretty clear that most of these footprints have been wiped clean. This set was like looked like something had been dragged over it in an attempt to obscure it, but this one particular paw pad just went a little too deep in the mud.
How big are they, and can I recognize
Pretty
them?
large, about the size of a fully outstretched human hand. So good size. You estimate there was probably about 150 pounds on it, so decent size.
Something's definitely been dragged out this way.
And then I'll add and it looks like this path gets used often enough to where the grass seems like it comes up, but it's smashed right back down as it's about to prostrate itself.
That sounds about right. What we're looking at seems to be some tracks that were wiped away, but not fully. And they look to be large paw pads.
Can I investigate the paw pad?
You can. Give me a roll. Wait, let's stop that roll first. What are you investigating about the paw pads?
Just to see if I can recognize if it's just the origin of the animal.
So you're trying to determine the origin. So that's not an investigation. We're going to give you a nature roll.
Nature is wisdom.
It's intelligence.
Intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Would you look at that? That's a 13.
13? Okay. Tough to say. You're not accustomed to seeing paw pads this large. By the distribution of weight, you figure this is either something massive on 4 legs or something roughly man-sized on 2 legs.
And I'll relay that information to Kethus and Cub.
Interesting.
If that sounds familiar to any one of you.
Cub is gonna kind of like stroke his beard and thought, is there anything that he can think of that comes to mind from like the humanoid version of paw pads that it could be?
Give me a nature check. Kethus, you can do so as well if you'd like.
Sure.
That's a natural 20.
Natural
Hey,
20.
would you look at that?
4? Kethus, you got no fucking idea. Big house cat.
Never seen that shit before.
No idea what's going on. Cub, the only creature you can think of, though you have not personally encountered one, that would likely have paw pads like this and be this size is a knoll.
Okay. I figure the only thing that I can think of off the top of my head is a gnoll. Never seen them, never dealt with them, but it fits the description.
You can always ask around if they're native to this area. But we'll certainly keep that in mind. Thank you for the insight, though.
Of course.
Gonna put you guys on pause for a second. Home team, what you doing?
Hey. Aw, that's cute. I would like to poke around the inside and look less at the stores and more at what other things might be in this room, even
Like
if it's just like a
utilitarian?
ledger or and but I'd also like to look around for anything that seems like carvings in wood or anything like that as well.
Okay, we'll just give me one investigation check. Ashirka, what are you up to?
Probably looking around the outside of the building to see if there are any signs of entry either from the main door or like going under the building or over the roof, anything like that.
Okay. Give me an investigation check as well. What'd you roll?
15?
15. What'd you roll? 10?
10.
Okay. With a 10, tough to tell. There's definitely some disturbed ground around the outside of this barn, this structure, but this is also a building that's traveled pretty frequently, so you kind of have a hard time telling if like something was maybe digging or if someone was just scuttling around making sure the building was in good shape. Ilva, you do find a ledger. There's actually a book hanging on a chain near the front door, and it's kind of behind like one of the support beams that holds up the frame of the door. And that takes a pretty good accounting of everything that is expected to be in this store. And it's all done by weight. Weight or by unit for items that would be in individual status. Of note, there is one word written here that you definitely don't recognize, and it's listed in with the fish, and it's werewhat.
And how is that spelled?
W-H-A-R-E-W-H-A-T.
Okay, got that. We'll check later.
Yep. And the weight listed next to it is immense. So,
Pounds.
upwards of 600 pounds.
Okay, I can't push it.
pretty large.
Not yet, anyway.
As for any signs of like damage or scratches or carvings or anything of that nature, you don't find a whole lot. On one of the support beams, there's a heart with some initials carved into it. It says K and S wrapped in the middle of this heart. But outside of that,
Well, I need you to know that today I looked through like the silly suggested personality traits and stuff, and I wrote down, I'm a hopeless romantic, always searching for that special someone. So now it is my duty to find K and S and make sure that they are happily in love.
well, good luck.
It's just Kethus.
Yeah, he just scratched it in real quick.
So, those are actually just your first and last name.
Okay. Alright. Are you guys doing anything else?
Nothing that I can think of.
No worries. Then we will switch back to away team. Take it away.
Let's investigate the tunnels. Let's see if they continue to the direction that you believe is into the woods.
Alright, that sounds good.
Going for any clues going forward from Paul.
What specifically are you looking for?
I guess any paw prints or just dragging like he mentioned before.
Okay.
Matted grass that again looked recent, which I was investigating for.
Now that you know what to look for, you definitely aren't picking up any more paw prints, but you are noticing that this path is very smooth. So it looks like something was dragged along this path to smooth out any tracks.
So unnaturally smooth is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay.
As if it's been cultivated somehow.
It could have had. If I noticed this too, assuming then I'll just. Perhaps they had this knoll cover their tracks with being tooled, just told around. I was like, oh, very intuitive of them. Must be a whole operation. We should look for these at the other stores as well.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
See if there are any other places they're dragging them off to, or if they're all going the same way.
Well, we could just follow this to the edge of the woods and see if all the points meet. See if we notice something else coming out.
Good point as well.
Maybe they're always going in the same direction.
Go for again for the tracks.
This involves a little bit of walking. Like I said, this path is about 1.5 miles long. So, home team, being in the barn and kind of exploring and getting the lay of the land, seeing what's in here, reading through the ledgers. First thing you notice is there is a non-insubstantial amount of food stores missing. It's not quite enough to where you think a casual glance would notice it, but there are some definite glaring discrepancies. In particular, there's a lot of missing ale, there's a lot of missing meat, and a lot of missing pickled vegetables. Pretty substantial amount. But the next thing you guys kind of realize is a lot of time has passed. The sun's starting to go down. It's been like an hour, and the guys still haven't come back.
Do you think we were supposed to follow them?
They didn't ask us to. When did they say they'd be back?
I don't know if we asked.
The sneaky one, the Kethus one, was supposed to hide here with you tonight.
Yeah, and I think you're supposed to go with the other ones.
Yes.
Because you didn't want to steal.
So what? Do we just stay here? Do we go up? What do we do here?
Well, we could flip a coin, but not my coin because I have none. But
Have we noticed anything as the day is ending? Have we noticed anything happening outside or happening in the storeroom?
Nothing catches your eye. Nothing interesting. The only thing of note is as the sun is starting to go down, the young teenage boy who Kethus thoroughly cowed earlier is coming to light the lanterns. He kind of comes by with like a flint and tinder and just real quick lights the lanterns around the building so that it's pretty well lit inside and out.
does he notice us?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
I'm
In like
gonna-
he knew that we were their way, or in a like it's very obvious that we're here.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious that you're here. It also seems like maybe someone told him you would be there.
Okay.
Like, maybe someone came and clarified why a strange group came and bullied him low-key
Sure.
before wandering
Sure.
off to their storage.
I'm gonna stop him from leaving once he's lit the lantern outside and ask, have you seen anything going on outside of here?
Well, you guys came and kind of made me sad.
Well, but between us making you sad and now, did anything happen?
I found a really shiny rock.
That's pretty cool. Can I see?
Yeah, and he shows you this, like, small little green almost gemstone. Like, it's semi-transparent, but not entirely. You're pretty sure it's glass? You're pretty sure it's an old bottle?
Am I?
Yeah.
Am I?
Yes.
With a -1 wisdom?
Yeah, no, you're still... You've held enough wine glasses
Okay.
that you're like, this is just washed up sea glass, and he's, like, really impressed with it. He is convinced he's found, like, an emerald.
Oh.
No Charlie
I'm
Day.
going to
Yeah.
I'm gonna stand up at my full height and just stand over him and stare down at him, and say, "You look young, but you are being a disappointment. Shape up."
Let him know. Let him
The
know.
kid, hang on.
This guy.
We're gonna crush this poor guy.
He like,
try to save him.
he briefly has this moment where, like, it's pretty clear he wants to cry. Like, it's pretty transparent that, like, he wants to cry. But he kind of, like, okay. And, like, turns around and, like, stands really straight and tall and is, like, marching off, spear out. He keeps whacking himself in the shoulder with his spear in his enthusiasm, but he seems convinced to not ruin your opinion of him any further.
I think, just ignoring all of that, I think that, maybe we, I'm just thinking your horse might give us away.
Oh, I left Strawberry when I asked people where the
Then never mind, silly me.
Or is the field crew aware that the sun is getting low?
Yeah, it's visibly getting darker as you guys are searching.
Okay.
If it was obvious to that boy that we were here, I don't know if whoever you wanted to surprise will show up.
Well, but we weren't hiding yet.
We weren't hiding yet! That's true!
They come in.
Should we hide now?
I think we have to either hide or go find our friends. But you know when you're in a place and your friends know where you are, but then when you try to go find your friends, they come back to the place you were, and then you just keep chasing each other around. I'm worried that might happen.
No, I don't. Sometimes I chase Strawberry. Is it like that?
Yes, I think so.
Ah, that is a problem.
So
Do you have a lasso?
I was really hoping you had some rope, actually.
I do.
Oh.
It's with Strawberry.
Oh no! Good. We have no rope. Very fun. Yeah, I think we should hide.
Then we will hide.
Is there a place to hide?
Tons of bags, barrels, things you can hide
I
behind.
want to get.
There's
in a
actually
barrel.
another level, like a loft level, to this storehouse that you guys have not explored yet.
Oh, well, I'd love to go up there.
Yeah.
It's just you haven't explored it because there doesn't seem to be a ladder.
Oh, well,
How high is it?
About 20 feet up.
I bet if I gave you a boost, or you gave me a boost.
You're pretty
honestly.
tall. I mean, you might have to hop a little bit.
Well, I'm nearly 6 feet tall. How
Yeah,
tall
but I
are
mean,
you?
6 and 6 is 12.
Oh, yeah, but I was gonna throw. When I say a boost, I was gonna try to
This
throw.
is your arm reach. Yeah, it's probably. I'd say 6 feet is what? Probably 8 feet with your arm length. Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Math's not my thing. I tell stories, guys. Don't judge me. So yeah, probably give 8. So that's still 16 feet. I mean, you still need a little bit of a hop or a toss if you could manage it.
That's what I want to try.
You're going
I wanna
full
try
cheerleader?
Yeah. Yes.
A shirka is in heavy armor.
Well, then
I'll
I'm not
toss.
wearing armor. You throw me.
I will throw you.
Okay.
This is wonderful.
Sure. Give me an athletics check.
Great. Roll sleeves up.
10.
10.
I haven't even decided on the die.
Excellent.
Have a +6 and I got a 10.
19.
19. Okay. So, Ilva, you are ready, and you are a well-oiled machine. The moment the hands spring up, you ready your knees, and you just put the effort into it to spring off. But she doesn't let go. And you go up, and then, whack, just pulled down, slamming into the mud. Luckily, you know, a little bit of the sacks of grain kind of break your
Okay.
fall, so there's no damage taken. But it's inglorious. It's a little embarrassing as you just slap into the earth real quick.
Maybe that was the wrong idea. Is there anywhere to climb?
You know, looking at it, it looks like there probably should be a ladder. For some reason, you don't see one.
Maybe that kid knows where the ladder is.
The one you guys just negged for a second time.
That's right.
I have yet to neg this child.
This poor kid. This prepubescent child.
Do you want me to ask if he knows where the ladder is?
If you try to find a ladder, I will go ahead and hide here.
How late is it? I think we
The
still have
sun the
time.
sun is actively going down at this point. It's probably like close to 6 p.m., 7 p.m.
Okay. Did the kid get far, or is
I
he
just seems
still-
to probably walk back to his post.
How far was that? Sorry.
About a quarter mile.
Oh, never mind.
A little bit of a walk.
That's farther than I thought it was.
Not super far, but it'll take a moment.
Yeah. No, never mind. I'd like to look for like an overly complicated way that I could climb and like maneuver around the things that are already in this room.
I will give you
Yeah,
a
can we
moment.
stack boxes?
I will give you guys a moment to figure that out and maybe think to each other. You can message each other if you'd like. Maybe work something out. We're going to go to the away team. You guys have converged upon what appears to be a series of paths exiting out from the town. None of these paths look like they're well established. They all look like they were made within the last probably few weeks. All of them similarly covered up where they are unnaturally smooth. As you guys are sitting, kind of analyzing this and trying to figure out your next course of action, Alistair and Cub, you hear branches snap out in the forest, a couple yards away.
I get low.
Just kind of hunker down.
Yeah. Straw hat on.
Okay.
And then I tell Kethus and Cub just, or I ask, hear that?
Yes.
No. And I get low. As I look at them.
Low passive perception, buddy. Sorry.
And then I turn to Cub for what to do because Alistair is not used to scouting in this sort of sense.
We wait. We see their numbers. We can take them. Then we'll do something about it. But for now, let's wait and see. And then, are we at like tree line?
You're right before the tree line. Yeah, you're like right there. You're kind of in shrubbery already.
Yeah. So we're in shrubbery, and that provides good cover.
I'd say if you guys hunker down, you're in full cover.
Okay. Yeah.
You guys want to do that?
Yeah.
Okay, just give me a blanket stealth roll.
With my Mask of the Wild ability to hide lightly obscured foliage,
Mm-hmm.
do I get advantage?
Yep.
Same as before, 24.
30-20.
30-20.
Also at 30-20.
Fantastic. Yeah, you guys roll great. You guys hunker down, and you all even regulate your breathing to where you're all breathing in rhythm. You guys get quiet. You start to hear your heart beating in your ears. And then directly before your vision, you see a large, hunched figure. Spotted fur, gleaming in the speckled light, with mismatched pieces of rusted, beat-up iron armor, and a long hook in its right hand. It's kind of scanning, its beady green eyes catching the light of the forest. And its mangled, gnarled jaw kind of opens up into a grimace, a sickly grin filled with long, sharp, yellowed, and leaded teeth. It seems to be scanning, looking around, and it waves. And 4 more similarly shaped figures, all wielding various cudgels or cruel bladed instruments, kind of pace around the woods, sniffing, listening. A couple of tense minutes pass. The leader looks directly at your shrub, passes over it, gives a sniff, shrugs, and with a strange, sickening, almost laughter-like noise, barks at the others as they move off deeper into the woods.
So they're not going to the hut?
No.
They're, okay, cool.
Deeper into the woods, you said?
House party.
Yeah.
What you guys doing?
I think we're going to try to take some boxes and create a kind of staircase that'll get us close enough
Okay.
to where we can like.
Yeah, there's a couple of like solid boxes in there. I
And
mean,
we'll like test the weight.
I would say it's pretty clear at this point that while this is a storeroom for foodstuffs, it also kind of low-key might just be a storeroom. Because a couple of these crates are pretty clearly laden with like building materials and supplies of that nature.
There's casks too.
Yeah, there's casks.
Yeah.
There's plenty of large boxes that are dense and solid enough that you're not too worried about collapsing them by standing on them. So I'd say it's easy enough to find like 2 good-sized boxes that you can kind of like put on one another at an angle and give you a makeshift stairwell, just enough for you to hop on up. Just give me a quick old acrobatics check.
That's fine.
Whoever's hopping up. So, Ashurka, if you're following, I would also need an acrobatics check.
Oh, that was
19.
so close
19?
to being a nat 20. 16.
16 and 19? Easy enough. Neither of you fall or slip or make any untoward noise. Getting up to this kind of loft, 2 things catch you by immediate surprise. The first would be that your hands are wet upon touching the boards. The second is the bodies. 3 what looks like guardsmen who have been thoroughly disemboweled and are stuffed into the back corner of this loft.
Maybe that's why people can't get up here.
Did Hilda know about this?
I don't know. That paints a very different picture of Hilda. And maybe Grim.
She only mentioned food going missing. She didn't mention this.
The corpses are clearly fresh.
How fresh?
within a day. They have yet to start to sting. And the blood is still somewhat warm
And all
on your
over.
hands.
Okay.
How long have we been here?
Hour and a half.
Okay. I
Oh my.
oh no!
Negging
We
was for
fallen
real.
right-
You're
To his
bullying that poor teenager, and now he's gonna get you back.
Oh,
That child is
Make fun of me, will you? I'll show you when I'm eating your insides.
I can't wait until that child is the BBE.
He just went straight home and started lifting weights. Like, immediately. Just started pumping iron. He's like, I'll show you. Make fun of me, will you?
Uh-oh.
We're hidden another.
Making friends wherever we go.
I'd like to. Do they take up? How big is the space?
It's about half of the room below you. So it's like it's
Okay.
if you've ever seen the inside of like a tobacco or a corn barn, they typically have like an upper region that's kind of there for you to work with the things that you're hanging or store supplies, etc., etc.
Are there any footprints or handprints or anything in the blood that is
Oh, yeah.
all over?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
dozens of paw prints, large
Okay.
paw prints.
Does it appear that these bodies were brought here and killed here, or killed then brought here?
Tough to say. Give me the medicine check.
Okay. Oh, good.
That was
A
bad.
good old wisdom skill.
Love it.
Actually.
What? Do you have a low wisdom or something?
That's an 11.
An 11?
Yeah.
Tough to say. You, at best guess, you would assume that maybe they were brought here and then killed, as there doesn't seem to be any indication of struggle or blood or anything like that.
Okay.
But at the same time, there's really no way for you to tell.
Okay.
You're just kind of best guess, you know?
Do the paw prints lead to somewhere that it looks like they would have come from or gone to?
There is, so at the loft that you're at, you kind of crest into the ceiling of the place where the thatch kind of meets the supporting frame, and in that supporting frame, there's a window carved to allow for air to get in and out, and there's definitely like crunched claw marks on the edges of those windows with some bloody paw prints. She's being cute, I know.
Is there anything else in this room, like murder weapon?
What's the motive?
Yilva, so Ashurka, you're at a loss here. This is your first time really seeing violence of this nature. As far as you can tell, something horrible happened here. This is disgusting and just beyond your comprehension, your ken at this moment. Ilva, this looks a lot like the after effects of starving wolves, who were just biting into whatever they could. You've seen village elders get taken like this, where a starving animal caught them unawares and took advantage and then was scared off before it could finish its meal. This looks like something hastily fed itself and then fled.
Is there anything else in the room?
Just the guards. Looks like there was probably supplies kept here at one point, but not anymore. What was up there has been tarnished with the blood or scattered.
Okay. I think that we need to tell Hilda about this, and maybe make sure that she didn't know about it, or see if she knows. Maybe maybe we could bring her and see if she could help figure out who they were and why they might be killed here. I don't know that I want to bring her here.
I don't think anyone should see this
Maybe, but like maybe some guards or something. That way they could figure out who these people were. I just
Not
feel
if the
like-
guards are anything like the guard we've talked to already. He is a child.
I don't know that that's a guard.
It's just a kid. He just
Ouch.
came out.
Actually, how old do
Ouch.
the dead guards look?
Tough to tell, as unfortunately it looks like maybe the faces were victim to a little bit of
Biting?
chewing.
Yeah.
The one that is least desecrated,
Mangled?
for lack of a better word, definitely looks like a man. Like, it's hard to tell the age because again, there's a lot missing, but definitely a man. Like, there's stubble on what's left of the face. There's a little sign of age, some crow's feet. He's a man. He's been a man for some winters now. So these are probably adults.
Is there a way to get to and look out that window without like stepping on someone's body?
You could step over the body, sure. You're definitely stepping in blood and other things. But yes, you can get to the window, no problem. It's a little bit over head height, so it's probably about forehead height. So you just have to tiptoe, and you could do it.
Hey, do you think we should look out that window?
Yes.
Which one of us?
I was about to say, not volunteering to do it though.
I will step around her to step up to look out the window.
Okay, you get on your tiptoes and you kind of pull yourself over. You see that beautiful scene that I described of the valley leading into the forest, which then leads into the foothills of this large mountain. You see the waves of golden grass blowing in the breeze, the flowers kind of swimming in this sea of gold. And then you look straight down, and it is situated in the grass in such a way that your cursory glances missed it, but from this top-down perspective, it's very clear to see a large, bloody impact from something that was blood-smeared landing on a spot in the grass, which then proceeded to follow into the footpath that your friends had discovered.
I'm going to quickly duck back in and say, we need to go. We need to find where they went.
Okay. I believe you.
All right. Away team.
Still in the bush.
Still in the bush. They have started to walk away now. They're probably 50 yards.
I make hand signals to as to stay or fall, or report back.
Intelligence check on both of you. I just want to know what your intelligence is. Sorry, you're not making an actual roll.
Oh,
Gotcha.
My intelligence is just a plus one.
So it's over 10. Over 10?
12,
Yeah, both of you are able to understand the sign. You've seen it enough. So, sure.
I'll sign back that we should go back to town.
Cub does the same.
I'm only doing the check because there was no, like, pre-established
Yep.
Yeah.
method of you guys never, like, made it a point to say, hey, we all know sign and we communicate together in sign.
Yeah.
So we're just kind of hoping that you all know sign.
Yeah.
Not implying that it takes a certain level of intelligence to learn sign language. So, but you all are able to understand. So you guys are heading back, was the agreed upon?
Yep.
Before we go, though, do I get a distinct smell off of these knolls, especially the one that kind of, like, surveyed our bush for a moment before walking in?
What's your passive? 14?
Yeah.
Perception? You smell beer. Which you definitely shouldn't smell. You smell beer on the wind.
Okay. I'll just keep that in the back of my mind. Can I tell what direction?
What, that the beer is coming from?
Yeah.
Just the general group of knolls. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good then. Good to go back.
Okay. As you guys are continuing along the path, about 2/3 of the way, you run into Ilva and Asherka, who are seemingly coming to find you.
I'm just gonna make hand motions like get back.
And I tell them quiet.
Okay. Asherka, give me a wisdom save. 17? Yeah, you take the social cue and you be quiet. You picked up on it.
Did I pick up on it?
You're fine, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Ashurka has so far shown us that maybe not the best at picking up on social
That's
cues.
fair.
So it made sense to make sure that you
Yeah.
got that this means quiet instead of, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Just real loudly, like,
Fair
what's the matter? Why don't you say anything? Are you guys okay?
I whiz low in.
Yeah, it's fine. Alright, so the party has reconvened. Look, you guys split the party and no one died yet.
Hell yeah. We did it.
First test passed. So, I will tell them that we saw. I wouldn't know that they're exactly gnolls, or they're called.
You would... I would say Cub did tell you that he reckons these are probably gnolls, so
Okay.
you might be making the assumption at this
Seeing
point.
them.
Yeah.
So I will relate to them. We saw 4 gnolls, and it tracks with 5.
Five.
Yeah, that's right. The one, then the 4 came.
Ilva, go ahead and give me a wisdom save.
Okay.
Shurka, go ahead and give me another wisdom save as well. I meant to do this before you guys left.
A 4.
A 4.
Yep.
15.
15. Alright, Ashurka, you're fine. Ilva, you're going to lose 2 points of morale.
Okay.
This is not something you are accustomed to seeing
Yeah.
without some degree of warning. It's a pretty large scale amount of carnage for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I am pretty upset. Like, visibly. Like,
So you guys would be able to see this visibly upon finding your 2 companions. Is that Ilva at least, and Ashurka a little bit, but doing a good job of hiding it. Both are a little blue in the gills.
I guess since I have some history with Ilva, I'll.
You would probably pick up on it pretty
Yeah.
fast.
I'll straight up ask, just like, is everything okay? Did you find something in the barn?
yeah. I don't think it's safe to stay there. We found some bodies upstairs. Well, we found an upstairs. And then we found some bodies. And it was pretty gross, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think we want to end up like that. So I think we need to figure out what happened. But yeah, I don't think we should. I think my plan was bad plan.
Upon hearing that, I'll just ask, did the body seem they were sort of for a while?
No. It was really gross.
At this point in the conversation, you guys start to hear some small degree of commotion from around town. You're still close enough to where you can hear particularly loud yelling. There are a series of names being called out. One of the only ones that particularly rings out and seems to be being yelled by the loudest, some sort of deep, burly voice, is Hadvar. You keep hearing them call it out, and it's sounding pretty panicked. You start to see, since the sun is going down, it's getting darker, you see torchlights, like, moving pretty frantically around the town.
Yeah. Then I'll try to think back. Did the gnolls have any look like they had any fresh blood when at least the one passed by?
Tough to say. They were in like a dappled sunlight situation where the sun's already going down and you're in an already very dense and old forest, so there's not a lot of light penetration.
Mm-hmm.
So what you did get was kind of only enough to give you an impression of what you saw, not really fine details.
A bunch of silhouettes.
I'd say the one and only thing that did catch your eye is all of the gnolls were wearing pretty rusty, beaten up equipment. One of them had very shiny, brand spanking new pauldrons on.
I'm gonna turn to Ilva and say, we should tell Yot about the bodies. She would be a better person to show them to.
At this, you do see at least one torch. It looks like maybe 2 or 3 are coming up the path in your direction, and you can now hear that there are people panicked, screaming, "Hadvar! Hadvar, where are you?" As they seem to be looking for someone. Another one you hear is yelling for Sven. equally panicked, sounding scared. And then there's definitely a third name being called, but you can't quite make out what it is. But it's clear that they're looking for 3 distinct individuals. They seem to be getting progressively more and more worried.
Yeah. I think we need to meet these people and stop them. If it's not, I don't know that they should see it. I think we should just show. Yeah.
I think we should hurry and get to yacht first.
You all are better at handling people than I am, so I'll let you handle this.
We saw gnolls. About 5 of them. I'm sure there's more, but
Even more reason to turn these people back. I don't want them to turn up.
does that match what you saw upstairs?
Yeah, I think something like that could do what happened. And Ashirka saw the ground. It was like bloody and there was a big impact.
Aren't sure how they got in, but they got out and then jumped down.
Okay.
These gnolls are definitely capable of doing something like this.
Yeah. Which is why I think if these people are headed this way to try to find these bodies, we should turn them back to town. And follow them back to town. And let Yacht know.
As you guys are speaking, the wind rustles through the grass as the sun finally peeks down behind the mountains. You hear some cracks, some creaking.
How close are the voices?
Don't hear any voice. Oh, the calling voices? Probably about halfway down the path. So still good, like 250 yards away, something like that.
Something
Now.
Something is compelling Cub to turn back and look around.
Okay. Give me a perception check.
That is 12.
12? The wind's rustling through this golden grass that stands at this kind of more wild edge of town, about hip height. So it's pretty deep. And it rustles through, and it almost looks like waves on the ocean. There are a couple of spots where the movement seems briefly, almost counterintuitive to the wind. Not enough for you to be sure, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of these strange little islands in the wind that don't appear to be moving at the same pace. The hair on the back of your neck stands up. You felt like this before, dealing with rabid wolves, being stalked.
Get these people out of here now. We're expecting company.
I'm gonna sling my pack around and pull out a hunting trap.
Okay.
And I'm gonna try and place that right at the edge where the grass.
Like starts to part.
Yeah.
Okay. So like towards that kind of beaten path type thing.
Yeah,
if
and
I'm
I want to
understanding.
cover it with some grass as well.
Sure. Give me a survival check. With advantage. You've done this before.
24.
Natural 20. Hell yeah, man. Yep. You set the trap masterfully and managed to hide it to a degree that you were quite proud of.
How far are the people now?
They're getting pretty close. You can hear their voices as they're talking to one another. The voices are now carrying, so probably 100 yards.
Okay.
How many people do we think? How many
3.
voices do we hear?
3. 2 guards. From this distance, you can tell. 2 guards. And 1 older, but still quite large man. He's moving with a little bit of a limp, but seems to be getting around pretty fine.
I'm gonna start walking down the path to, like, intercept them.
Okay.
Tell them to bring Yield.
What's everyone else doing?
I'm gonna back up Africa. And just,
Okay, so you're going to start going down the path as well?
Yeah.
So 2 of you are heading down.
I'm getting my short bow out, knocking an arrow, but moving back, like still facing the direction. And if I see anything that even looks like a mole or something that would be a threat, then I'm firing.
Okay. You set your trap. Are you
Um,
backing up or standing your ground?
I'm gonna hide about 10 feet away from it in the grass.
Okay. Hilda?
I am standing my ground, kind of passing my blade back and forth between my hands, just sort of like getting ready for
The
a
light,
fight.
the light starts to die. You are in a valley surrounded by large mountains. So once the sun sets below those, there is no light getting through. There's just a gleam of gold on the horizon, outlining the mountains. It's dark. It's getting cold. The wind sweeps through again, and this wave passes through the grass. 10, 12, 15, 20 islands out in the grass. A second wave, pushing completely against the wave of wind, starts to push out from the grass closest to the forest.
Wait, I'm sorry, what?
There appears to be a large force of something moving through the grass,
Oh,
counter to the wind.
It's coming from the forest.
Yes.
It
So
must
the
have
wind
been-
is blowing
Okay,
at
I
a
see
horizontal,
what you're
and this is pushing against that movement. So the indication is that there are many, many things in the grass.
We need to get back now. We can't take them all by ourselves.
okay. I guess we leave.
We have to warn all the guards, anybody who's capable of fighting.
Do you want to leave? Stand your ground.
No, I don't want to leave. I want to
Stand in your ground.
beat these things up.
Okay. Ilva looks at you, readies their glaive. Stand strong.
I'm still in the bushes
Okay.
or the grass.
I'd say traveling with Kethus for a little while now, you do have the sense that he's there.
Okay.
You saw what he was doing. You know him well enough to know he's probably backing you up.
If we were to like yell, would Asherka hear us?
Everyone would hear you. Everyone approaching you at this distance would hear
Okay.
you. And it's likely people in the village would too. It's just a matter of time for them to get to you.
Okay. Ilva's just gonna yell out, "If you come any closer, be prepared to fight."
The 2 guards continue moving forward, and a large man draws what looks like a club and starts moving forward as well. At this point, you see like 3 more torchlights kind of from the path leading to the village. And you can't make out people anymore because the light is too dim. But you can see the torchlights briefly pause and then seem to move with speed in the direction of the 3 men moving towards you now. So potentially 6 people heading your way.
I'm gonna slowly and carefully move further towards the woods, like really, really slowly.
Give me a self check.
Just moving in.
Oh no.
Natural 1.
Oh no.
Mask of the Wild, though?
Read it.
Mask of the Wild. You can attempt to hide even when you are only lightly obscured by foliage, heavy rain, falling snow, mist, or other natural phenomena.
It's dark as fuck.
It doesn't specify that it in any way gives you advantage.
Yep.
So what I will say is this. It is not as catastrophic a failure as it could have been. You will not be getting hurt from this failure. But a natural 1 in this case does stand. It is still a failure. So Kethus starts to move, and no one sees him. Kethus is a man of stealth. He starts to move, and then Ilva, you realize his mistake before he does. You see that he is moving against the wind. And he is carving a path in the grass that is visible. Highly visible. and immediately 3 arrows just rain in on that location. Black, wickedly carved things. They miss you. You are seen. And as those arrows fire, you see a full line of Knoll archers stand, dip their arrows into some sort of pot at their side, and strike them with flint and tinder, and start to fire arrows in your direction, as 5 more Knolls stand up 5 feet away from you, Gilva, and draw
5
scimitars.
feet away from me?
5 feet away. They are right on you. They snuck up right to you. You're not in combat yet.
Hit me,
You are being
motherfucker.
attacked.
I did.
I'm gonna
specify-
go. You did specify, so I'm gonna get to you. But I am gonna go around the entire crew except for Kethus, who unfortunately doesn't get the opportunity. I need to know one action. You guys get one action that you were doing in response, and then you're in combat or fleeing. As 10 more Knolls step out of the woods with lit torches. You're facing a total of 25 Knolls that you can see. The forest starts to glow. So, we're going to start with Alistair. I'm not going to give you guys a lot of time,
Yeah.
because you don't have a lot of time. So starting with Alistair, I'm going to say each of you has 30 seconds to tell me what you're doing. And that can, to clarify, that can be an action that you're taking, or you can flat out say, I am fleeing. You are currently facing 25 Knolls that you are aware of. There is clearly another force in the woods. Alistair, you're up.
I don't see any other of my... I first draw my sword.
Yep. There.
And, I'm going to turn back, and Ilva's there. I need to show her that I can win in a fight, since I've lost that epic fight against her when I first met her. So
This is quite the fight, guys. I'm here for it, man.
I'm backing up Ilva when
Here
I
for
see
it.
her surrounded.
Camaraderie, man. Alright, Ilva, you feel a presence step behind you. As the only man to put up a real fight, takes your back. Cub, you had already said that you were going to start firing as soon as you saw Knolls.
Yep.
What line are you firing at? There is a line of 5 within 5 feet of Ilva. There's a line of 10 about halfway to the forest. They appear to be archers with fire arrows. And there's another line of 10 coming out of the forest.
How far are the ones from?
You definitely couldn't hit the ones in the forest.
Okay, how far are the ones that are with the arrows?
I would say literally right at the maximum amount of your range.
Okay.
Like,
then,
they might even be a little outside, but you're firing downhill, so I'd say you could just make that shot.
yeah, they're. Well, I'll move up a little bit
Yeah.
so I can get a little bit more.
If you moved up to Ilva, they'd be completely within range.
Okay.
Still a long shot, but not insane.
Yeah, then I will take a shot at one of the archers, considering those were technically the first ones that I saw.
Sure.
So, here we go.
Hoping for a good roll for you, bud.
Let's find out.
That sounds
No
like...
pressure,
it
Pat.
looks like a bad roll from Pat here.
Yep, my luck has run out.
Did you ever
That's
have
a
any?
natural 3.
Oh, I thought you were going to say natural one. I was like, oh my god.
Fuck.
So, for our viewers, because I know none of you would know this, if any of you are familiar with Will Wheaton curse, the curse of the natural ones, that's Patrick. Patrick consistently rolls just awful, just really, really bad. He plays a blood hunter in a Curse of Strahd campaign. The only thing he rolls well on is damage to himself. So, Patrick has a history of just not having the best luck. And he's
much.
gone and rolled a natural 3 when the party really needed him to roll a natural 20. Like, they really needed that clutch kill.
Yep.
Unfortunately, buddy, with that natural 3, the arrow just goes sailing right over the shoulders of one of the Knolls. That's going to bring us to a Shirka. Again, you can declare an action or you can flee.
Okay. So, my first inclination was I want to protect the people here.
Okay.
But now my party is in danger. So I'm going to take out my shield and push it hard against the man and the 2 guards that are walking up, and tell them, go back and get Yacht. and get my horse. And then I'm going to turn, and I'm going to stand with my party.
The large man with the club continues forward, and he taps the two guards on the shoulder and said, "Go get your mother." And he steps forward, and this guy stepping up to you, Ashurka, fucking big man. Big old boy. Definitely an old man. At least 60. Definitely get up there. Gray beard, bald. He's got a series of these faded tattoos wrapped around his skull and around his arms. Wearing a blacksmith's apron. Big guy. But he steps forward and he comes behind you, seemingly to back you up as you move forward. The other two guards immediately sprint back looking for Yut. They actually start screaming Yut's name. As they start screaming Yut's name, somewhat comfortingly, Ashurka, you'd see right before you turn around, one of the torches of the three coming from town starts headlong sprint. Just starts moving fast. So you're hoping that that's Yut. Ilva.
I'm making an attack.
Making an attack. Go for it, man. You got that range with the glaive. Roll to hit.
Aren't they within 5 feet of me?
They are within 5 feet. That's what I'm saying. You got that range. So roll to hit.
No, not that one. Okay.
Choose a two.
Oh, no.
It's
An
an
8. Is that plus anything?
No,
Or was that plus?
That was the modifier.
I'm so sorry. You go to pull your glaive up, and you lunge forward, and this gnoll just swats it out of his way and lunges in with his own spear. So that's going to bring us to their surprise round. And then we'll roll initiative.
It still makes sense for me to rage.
Well, it will make sense for you to read. That's plus 8. 14? Don't believe that hits?
Nope, that
Yeah,
misses.
14 doesn't hit. So the guy who stabs out at you also misses. You do the exact same thing. You just, nope, and just swat that shit out of your face. The one to his left is going to attack at you as well. Doesn't hit. One to his right, swinging at Alistair. That's a lot. It's over 25. So
Yeah,
I'm guessing
yeah.
your AC definitely hits. You do have Sentinel. That's very true. All right, so we'll let the attack.
So much.
We'll let the attack go
Yeah.
through, and then you'll get yours.
Yeah.
Boop. So that's going to be 6 points of piercing damage. As he gets a nice hook in with you with this weird, like... It's almost like a harpoon. It's got like a strange hook on the end of a spear. And as he sticks you with it, he pulls back, and only the handle comes back. And the hook stays in you, and there's a line attached to it.
Oh,
I,
That's it for right now. The last gnoll is going to swing at you.
opportunity.
Oh yeah, take your... I'm sorry, I forgot. Take your sentinel attack.
Can my sentinel attack be to try to detach that, like, slice that string?
I would say roll your attack, and we'll see what you roll. And
Okay.
we'll go from there.
15.
15. You're not going to be able to get the string, but you will get a meaty hit on that arm, which might impact something later.
Okay.
Go ahead and roll your damage.
Okay. I need a d10. It's 4 points of slashing damage.
He lets out this brutal howl, and you watch as his arm just starts to dangle, and he tries to pull and clearly rein you in with this line, and his arm just gives and bends backwards at the elbow as the tendon has been severed completely. This man's left arm is completely disabled. Like, he ain't using it ever again.
And where's the hook in you specifically?
It's like in his shoulder. He got
Okay.
you like right in the meat. And
Gotcha.
the hook is like, it's a double barbed affair, and it's attached to this thickly corded line that looks like it's made of some sort of thin metal. So it's clearly meant to grab someone and not let them go. But no matter, because he's dropping it.
Yeah.
He took some decent damage to that arm, unfortunately. He's not going to be swinging it for a while. But he does go ahead and quickly draw a dagger with his right. But the other one's going to swing at you again with the same type of spear.
Okay.
That's over 20 as well.
Yeah,
So that's definitely going to hit. Oof. That's going to be 10. 10 points of piercing.
Ooh. Not looking great.
They can only do this once, guys, just so you know. That's going to be 10 points of piercing from the harpoon. And he gets you, and once again, you see this like metal line stick out of your flesh. as you feel that pain, kind of take over you, you feel this strange warmth fill you, and it doesn't hit as hard as you expected it to. You go for 3 points of that damage.
I recover 3 points?
You recover 3 points of that dealt damage.
Interesting.
That brings us to the archers. We're just going to do a blanket roll, because they are not aiming at you. 17, yep. You guys watch as 10 of these flaming arrows sink into the ground around and into the side of the storehouse. And it catches flame.
Knew I should have taken that fucking meat.
Tough, man.
Should have taken that fucking meat.
The 10 gnolls at the forest line are going to move their full movement forward. So they're now about, say, 60 feet behind the... No, not quite 60 feet. Probably about 30 feet behind the second line of archer gnolls. And then a line of 10 more gnolls steps up to the edge of the forest, carrying torches and clubs. I'm going to need everyone to roll initiative.
So that's 35 minutes?
35 gnolls, guys. This is a siege.
Got a 14.
Okay, I'm going to need everyone to hold on to those, because I need to tickle.
I got a solid
5.
14. Ah, 35.
TPK.
TPK.
Just
Oh,
TPK.
Percy's here.
Session 1 TPK.
Hi, Percy.
Was that Percy?
Yeah.
Hi, Percy.
We stand. Throw back to that time that we thought we were going to TPK session 0.5. It's fine.
Yeah, basically. Except instead of
On
a
TPK,
wall of
it's
ocean, it's a wall of moles.
Just a lot of walls.
Yeah. Sensing a recurring theme.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to have to put more dice in dice tray.
Hi to Bran only. Aww.
That was Percy. Because
I
I
know.
said hi.
I know, but he said hi to Bran only.
Oh. Good. I missed that one.
He just typed it.
I see.
You're a jerk, Percy. A joik.
Take it back right now. Percy is fantastic.
What did Percy say?
Percy just, someone else said TPK for the win, and then Percy said no, and then I was like, oh, it's Percy! And then he said hi, and then we could read the rest.
I see that. It shouldn't be a TPK if I plan this out right. It should be alright.
Alright.
We'll see.
Not a
That's what he
TPK,
says.
but some
Hey,
case.
guys, worst case scenario, like any DM, I have like 30 stories ready to go. We'll be fine. We can just do a new campaign. It's alright.
A new campaign. And that's the end of Saga.
Percy, I'm here to shitpost and watch TPKs, and I'm all out of shitposts.
Amazing.
We're gonna start the circle with Kethus.
14.
Alistair,
Get ready. 5.
Cub,
Also 14.
Ashurka,
16.
15.
not bad, guys. Blanket roll.
Kethus, you said your dex was 17?
Yes.
Okay, you're going
Blanket roll. Blanket roll. 15. Okay, that'll work for all of them. And then all right. Top of the round is going to bring us to barreling in, just comes full headlong sprint, not in any armor, wearing a tunic and wielding nothing but her fists and a dagger. Comes barreling in, clearly responding to the threat, barefoot I might add, ready to fight. Immediately chucks the dagger at the first gnoll she sees. Let's see if my NPC is a badass or if they roll an @1 and just, you know what, we're gonna switch dice up. We're gonna switch dice up.
Yep, was getting ready for sleep.
Still gonna hit. Bad roll, still gonna hit.
Hey, that's all that matters.
So she launches the dagger. And that's gonna be... Boop. Damn. You guys watch as the one gnoll who Yilva had already kind of severed the arm of just gets a blade that just sinks right into the center of its forehead. And it just kind of like lets out this weird sickening laugh and just crumples into the ground as it falls. And then Yot lets out this roar and just screams out, ready to fight, looking like they're ready for blood as they go into a full rage.
I was gonna say, is Yacht raging?
They are, in fact, raging, and they're going to take their second attack,
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, they are.
and they're going to draw another dagger from their side and go to throw that one as well, and then they're going to switch into a bare-knuckle brawl stance, ready to go.
Yeah,
That still hits as well. Another bad roll, still lands. Let's see if the damage roll is good. Pretty good. 13 is literally just enough. Just enough. The second knife catches the gnoll that had Alistair. Or sorry, not the gnoll that had Alistair. That's the one who died. Catches the gnoll that has you right in the eye. And once again, with kind of like a dog-like whimper, just crumples into itself. And Yut just roars again and crunches her fists into themselves as she prepares to get into this brawl. And you see behind Yut, you see a series of torches start to run up the hillside in your direction. Looks like anywhere from 10 to 12. Tough to count. That is going to bring us to Ashurka.
Do any of the torches look like they are on my horse?
One is pretty high up.
Okay. Where am I in regard to the rest of the party?
I would say you've got a 30 foot will get you to Yut and Ilva. 50 foot will get you to roughly the last place you saw Kethus.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to use my 30 feet to run up and stand in front of Yilva.
Okay.
Not Young. Not going to stand in front of that. And if there is a gnoll in range, then I want to take a swing at it.
There is definitely a gnoll in range. There's 2 gnolls
Great.
left, actually. Or, sorry, 3. 3 gnolls left. I can count. 3 gnolls left in range. Go ahead and take a swing.
That is a 25 to hit.
I mean, that definitely hits. Their AC is not 25.
5 damage.
5 damage. You see... I'm sorry, remind me what you're swinging with. It's a longsword, right?
It is a longsword.
It is a longsword, cool. So your longsword cleaves into this thing's collarbone, and you just watch its arm go limp, and it just looks like rage is the only thing carrying it as it drops the spear and switches to that long, curved knife that it has. Like it's ready to kind of do some hurting on you in return. But it's looking
Hold up my shield.
a little hurt. Anything else?
Just gonna hold up my shield and get any defensive stance from here.
Okay, fair enough. That's going to bring us to a tie between Ilva and the gnolls in front of you. What is your dex? 2?
Like +2.
+2. Oh, then you win.
Yeah.
You win the fight. So you go first.
No,
Dex
literally
is 2.
No.
My dex is 2.
You're a fat slob.
As your turn starts, and as you start to ready yourself to attack, you feel that warmth overcome you again, and you take 7 more points. No, sorry, 6 more points of healing.
Oh, healing. Okay.
Is,
Cool.
any of them near my hunting trap?
That's interesting.
Yep.
Oh, do I know where the hunting trap is?
Probably. You probably saw him set this up. Which would be why you knew he was there in the first place.
True.
It's about
Okay.
a foot to your left. There is one standing literally on top of it. If he moves at all, he's going to trigger it. But he
Okay.
does need to be moved.
Yeah. So I am going to. Well, actually, first of all, I've taken damage.
Okay.
So can I use my bonus action to rage?
Yeah.
Great. I would like to rage.
You rage. You hear Yuva let out a similar scream to Yut, and you now just see two towering, screaming women just standing there, facing on this horde of oncoming gnolls, just ready to wreak havoc.
Alistair's.
Okay. I'm scared. Loud noises.
And then,
Oh God, Archer just
Yeah,
map.
mop.
and then I'm going to try to position myself so that, like, if I were to make a stab with my glaive, I could also try to, like, push them a bit.
Easy enough. Honestly, you really could almost, rather than stab, you could just take like a swing and like force the
that's
thing
fair.
that way, you know? So I wouldn't say you'd have to reposition too much.
Okay,
You're pretty good where you're at.
great. And so then I will make a swing.
Yeah. And your roll will determine the effectiveness of making it move.
Well, yeah. That's a 16.
16. Alright, that is more than enough to hit. Let's roll damage.
Okay. That is 10 points of slashing.
10 points of slashing damage.
With your rage bonus?
Yes, with rage,
Jeez
yeah.
Louise, that's a hit. Oh man.
Strong.
These guys have 12 hit points. Just gnarly. You just carve into this thing. You take a swing, and you meant to hit it with the half, and you did, and it just crushes its jaw, and it like spins and steps, and you hear a bing and slam as these two jaws just rip up out of the dirt and slam into this thing's legs. What's the damage roll on that?
It's a d4.
It's a d4? That's enough. You watch as it slams in and just completely shuts, severing the leg, as this thing lets out a whimper and just falls whimpering and then lies still.
That's my turn.
A good turn. Next up is the two surviving gnolls that are now a little less confident in their ambush, as they just have these two large humans just screaming at them. They're like, I don't know what to do here. This other guy just got his leg bitten off by something made of metal. Like, I don't know what to do. So they're a little panicked. Both of them are going to lash out with their hooked spears. One at you, one at Yacht. The one at Yacht definitely lands. The one at you also definitely lands.
Great. Let's see it.
Alright, Yacht's going to take 8 points of piercing damage as the harpoons easily sinks through the tunic that she is wearing. She seems to make no reaction. You are going to take 8 points of piercing damage as well as the harpoon sinks into you. That is
So I now
their
have
turns.
2 of these harpoons.
You do.
Yeah.
I think the one that has each of you is probably going to try to flee with you. So they're going to make strength checks against yours. So go ahead and give me a strength save.
No problem.
You probably win on this one, unless it's a really bad roll.
It's a really bad roll. 8.
8, you do not win. So it's going to move its full 30 feet, dragging you with it. The other one doesn't move at all. Trying to move Yut, and it's just pulling all its weight, not moving at all. Can't even barely move. It rolled a 3, and her plus is 5, so doesn't matter. So yeah, you are pulled 30 feet, and you are grappled. That said, that's going to move us on to either Cub or Kethus. Kethus, I believe you have the higher dex.
Yeah. From where I'm at, so I moved maybe 10 feet into the grass.
I'd say so, yeah.
What can I see? Like from where I'm at.
From your vantage point, what's your passive perception? 12?
14.
14? Okay. From your vantage point, without using your turn to actively, like, scout, I would say you see two things of particular interest. One, you can have pretty clear line of sight on the two gnolls that are currently... Or sorry, on one of the gnolls, the gnoll that is engaged with Yachts. The other gnoll has kind of moved off into the grass and is dragging you over with it, which you can kind of make out based on the collapsed grass. You have a decent line of sight of a couple of the archers. Interestingly, there is a tree about 20 yards away from you, just standing a little bit separate from the rest of the forest. There is a gnoll with a bow in that tree.
Alright, I'm gonna push through the grass towards the collapsed grass trail that I'm seeing.
Okay. Doing your full movement?
Yep, as much as I can.
Then you
into
very
it.
quickly stumble upon a kicking and very angry Ilva being dragged by a gnoll.
Alright, I'm gonna throw a dagger at the gnoll.
Hell
that's
yeah.
dragging it.
Roll to hit. You would get sneak attack on this.
It's a 23.
23 definitely hits. Go ahead and roll that damage and add that sweet, sweet sneak die.
Random,
Get it.
random using your dice.
Oh. Shout out to Coffee Dragon Dice.
Yep.
6 total damage.
6 points of damage to the one dragging Ilva.
Yes.
It falls.
Okay.
That was
Nice.
enough. That was enough to finish it off. So it's going to go ahead and drop, and you just, Ilva, you suddenly stop feeling that tension, and you look up just in time to watch this dagger protruding from the back of this thing's skull as it just drops.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I'll just draw my short sword, because that's all I have left.
Yep.
And that's my turn.
All right. Fair enough. So you are up, Cub.
Right. What's left around? Just the one with.
There's one currently engaged with Yut, and then about, at this point, 30 feet away from you, probably 50 feet away from you,
Okay.
is the line of the archer gnolls.
Okay.
Other than that, they're too far away to bother.
Seeing what Yolt did to the last few, Cub knows that she can handle this one.
Okay.
So, first things first, he's going to grip tight his bear necklace that he has around. And he's going to say, Guardian Mora, watch over us. And then he's going to fire an arrow at one of the archers.
Cool. You have advantage.
Hell yeah. Also using range dice.
Hell yeah. More Coffee Dragon Dice.
I need to get me some rain dice.
You do need to get you some rain dice. Rain, when are you releasing
When's-
some more dice?
When's that shop?
I'm gonna start casting again this week, actually. So
Hey,
hell yeah.
you heard it here first, guys. Coffee Dragon Dice. Go check it out. She makes awesome stuff. All of us have a set.
Yep.
Sick.
Fran will have a set.
15 to hit.
15 to hit. 15 makes it.
Right. 7 damage.
7 points of damage. A nice, nice hit. This gnoll drops its bow, and it's struggling to stay standing. It's looking like it's really hurting. It draws a dagger as well, ready for closer combat. Anything else?
Yeah, I just remember I should have had advantage on that strength save, but
Oh yeah, you should have because you were raging. That's fair.
it doesn't matter.
It'll work out.
It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll do it.
That'll do it. All right. Next up is going to be the second wave. So the gnolls behind the archers are all going to move their full movement. They are now about 10 feet away from the archers. So the reinforcements have arrived. Similarly, the large man is going to join you guys at the front, wearing what looks like an apron of some sort. He's covered in tattoos. He's bald with a long gray beard that's done tight in a braid. And he's got a big old meaty club in his hand, and he looks pissed. But he's ready to fight. He's going to go ahead and take a swing at the gnoll, fighting Yot. Definitely going to hit. Which one's a 12? I never fucking remember. That's a 12. Whoa! Oh, God. Woo! he's gonna just bring that club down right on the top of the Knoll's head and just Gallagher that stuff, man. Like,
Yes.
it's a mess. It's just
Splatter.
splatter. There's bone bits that fly. He just completely caves its skull in, and it just once again you hear that kind of sick, like almost dog-like whimper as the thing kind of giggles and just falls into itself, twitching as its body catches up with its brain. Very much dead. Yot kind of acknowledges the man and kind of shrugs and appears to be getting ready for their own assault. That's going to bring us to the archers. Okay. All the archers are going to dip, pull, and light another round of arrows and shoot them all at the storehouse and the surrounding area. There is now a full-on blaze in the surrounding area, and the entire building is completely engulfed in flame. I'm going to need Ilva, Yot, unnamed man, who will go unnamed for right now. You don't know who he is. And Kethus. Yes. To give me dexterity saving throws. Looking good.
Nope.
Uh-oh.
You're 5, so that's a 7.
7.
16.
16. You succeed, so it's like half damage as the fire starts to sweep through. Succeeds. Fails. So that's going to take full damage. Well, it's nothing bad this round. It's 1 point of fire damage. Anyone who succeeded on the save takes none. Normally you would take half, but you can't have one, so no damage. You just kind of like shield yourself just in time to avoid the little bit of blaze that's now starting to move unhindered.
Kind of going into the grass now.
Yeah, it's like spreading out fast. That last wave of arrows seems to have really spread that pitch that they're dipping their arrows in.
Does it seem like that, like the people who continue to run up are like
They are
doing
now
anything about that?
yes. So
Okay.
there's now a wave of torches at this point, and this would have happened on the turn with the large man. There's now a wave of torches that are now identifiable as several town guards, and they are all within shouting distance. They're almost at you for reinforcement. It's probably 12 of them at the moment. Interestingly, Kethus, you hear the sound of a set of wheels moving through the grass around you. And that's right. One of the archer gnolls, within about 20 feet of you at this point, starts just giggling and chuckling and just laughing with hilarity, and it turns and just starts firing arrows into the nearest gnoll. Just unleashing
Interesting.
every arrow it has into the body of its friend next to it, who goes down, and then it turns around and starts doing the same to the gnoll next to it before one of its friends finally hamstrings it and takes it down. But it manages to take out 2 gnolls next to it, and now it is down. So that's 3 less archer gnolls that will be standing for reasons unknown. Moving forward,
We have friends.
Yeah.
that is going to be Alistair.
I'm still surrounded by a few gnomes, right?
Yo,
Yeah, you're with Yot, so there's now no gnoll next to you. In fact, actually, I would need a dex save from you as well. I forgot that you were right next to Yot.
Dex save? 15.
You succeed, so no fire damage in this round.
Alright.
But yes, it is your turn. The archers at this point are probably within 30 feet. The ones that are left,
Okay, cool.
of which there are 7.
I charge, sword out, and I'm cutting arms and more limbs since
Okay.
I've noticed.
You're
that
going to
they seem
handicap?
weak. Yeah.
Sure, give me a roll.
That's 11 to hit with my short sword.
11 to hit just misses, unfortunately.
Alright. Then,
You kind of take a swing, and it just bounces off of some makeshift pot armor.
And I will. They're the archer, so I'll just stay within range, ready for another swing.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh wait,
wave-
I'll use my bonus action to make an unarmed strike.
There you go.
Monk shit.
Monk
shit.
shit.
Love it.
Monk shit, dude.
Oh wait, I need to roll to make that unarmed
You
strike.
need to hit.
That's natural 15.
15 hits. So we'll say you swung with the short sword, and then you take the left hand and just kind of let out
Yeah.
a quick little slap.
Saving bludgeoning.
7 points of bludgeoning
Still
damage.
going to
Jesus,
try to handicap.
that's a hell of a slap, man.
You've been slapping hard.
Whack! Just watch his head like spin around a couple of times. Yeah, I mean, with a 7, I would even say. Yeah, I'd say you're able to just you know exactly where to hit, and you watch as its arm just crunches in on itself as you snap the joint. 7 points of damage is more than enough to cripple. So, especially on an archer knoll who is a little weaker than the melee knolls. So yeah, he's looking rough. He's definitely not drawing a bow. Anything else on your turn? Any movement? Or I think
I
you
just
used
try
your
to
movement.
look, yeah.
That's right.
I have 40. I used.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, you would have 10 feet of movement.
Yeah, I'll back up since I don't proc.
Yeah.
Opportunity attack.
He wouldn't be able to anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, you move about 10 feet back.
Yep.
Not a problem. At this point, you're probably standing almost even with Kethus and Ilva.
Cool.
You're pretty close. You can definitely see
Three
them.
musketeers.
Yeah, you can definitely see them. That's going to bring us to the reinforcements, who are now going to be caught up. There are now 12 guards backing up everyone in the line with Yut and the unnamed large man. There do seem to be a few more reinforcements coming from behind that, probably about 6 more men. Kethus, you once again hear the sounds of that wheelchair, which you now clearly know. Okay. Another one of the archers turns around, laughing, and just starts firing. Unlike the first one, after a few rounds fired off and he successfully downs one more of his companions, he himself also falls dead. So 2 more down. Okay. So 5 left. Well, 4 left because you just downed one,
Yeah.
basically.
for the archers.
He's still alive, but not by much.
Yeah.
You're looking pretty bad. The guards have now come to back you up, so they're going to go ahead and fire off a volley. That's going to be enough. It's an 8. 10 points, so that's all of the archer line go down, filled with arrows. The entire line of archers is going to sink and fall. At this point, you see 2 more waves of gnolls. Looks like at least 10 each are now coming up the hill. That's going to bring us to Yut, who is going to turn. You're going to hear her yell something in that sing-song language, and the only word that you recognize in it is eagle.
Eagle?
Eagle. You hear eagle, and you definitely recognize that name. She sounds angry.
That's E-G-I-L, right?
Yep. Sounds angry. She then is going to charge her full movement forward, and then is going to dash to make it to the first wave. We're going to go ahead and say big guy goes with her, because I didn't give him an initiative. So he's going to roll with her and charge forward. Both of them aren't close enough to engage. They also use their action, so they're going to stand there ready to face tank 10 gnolls. So I probably won't go
She
for it.
good. She good.
Shirka, as you are ready to brace yourself for your next action, you hear the familiar clop of Strawberry, who is now beside you.
I use half of my speed to mount my horse.
Okay?
And then... Okay, how far am I from, I guess, the next wave of gnolls, or the nearest gnolls to me?
What's the movement speed on Strawberry?
That is what I'm trying... 60 feet.
60 feet? You can make it.
Shit.
Okay.
Yeah. You can make it with movement to spare. You have about 20 feet to spare.
Okay. Sorry, I'm making sure I understand how the horse works. Okay. I am going to charge Strawberry for, I guess, just one of the gnolls in the next wave. And then have her trample it with her fucking hooves.
Nice. Go ahead and roll to hit.
Yep. Okay, that's that.
Shit. Honestly, didn't know you could do that.
That is a 24 to hit.
That hits.
Okay, and then damage is... Stop, get out of the way. Okay. 6 plus 4.
Jesus.
He goes down. Smashed
And
underneath the hooves.
if the horse moves at least 20 feet straight toward a creature and then hits it with its hooves on an attack, it must succeed on a DC 14 strength save or be knocked prone.
It's dead.
Okay, well.
Yeah, you crushed.
Well.
You crushed its body. And,
It definitely goes prone. though.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's definitely prone.
Okay,
That's your turn.
that's my turn.
Okay. At this interesting change of fortunes, you're going to hear the gnolls start to bark at each other. The second line, the one that you are currently charging Ashurka, is going to turn and attempt to flee. The line behind them seems to be of the same mind. As of right now, it looks like your foe is fleeing. Especially as another wave of guard reinforcements crests the hill. They seem to have lost their spirit.
How burned down is the storage
It
building
is
at this
actively going down.
Yeah.
It is not looking good at all. So, for all intents and purposes, we are out of combat. What are you guys doing as this fire rages unchecked?
Is there a source of water nearby?
Not very close. There is a well on the outer edge of town.
How far away is that?
About 400 yards.
Okay. Is there a bucket?
At a well? For sure.
Well, I
Gonna
meant
need a lot more
nearby,
buckets.
but
There'll be one at the well.
okay.
Has anybody actively started attempting to put the fire out?
Yut seems to now be organizing a line. So there seems to be a line of people that are now stretching down to said well with a series of buckets.
I'm going,
Looks like they
Great.
anticipated the fire.
I'm going that way.
Okay.
I'm gonna check how close can I get to the building without getting hurt by the fire.
You're kind of already there. So
Okay,
if you want to investigate further, you're going to have to start risking some damage.
I would, but I'm at 5, y'all.
Yeah. Level 1 fights are tough, man.
Yeah.
Gnolls are, I think, CR3.
Is
They're
that
tougher,
harpoon
yeah.
not-
Yeah.
The two harpoons in me aren't doing anything anymore?
Not anymore. There's nothing holding them, so.
Oh,
Like,
fair.
they're on a
I'm not
line.
yanking on it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So there's no gnoll holding onto it, so you just have, like, dangling lines of metal and stick hanging off of you that are hooked into your body.
I probably
I can help.
pull them out.
I can help pull them out.
Doesn't feel good.
Since
Yeah.
I was near you.
I'd probably say take 1 point of damage getting them out.
Okay.
It does not feel good. They definitely tear flesh on the way. And the one in particular, this one that went into like your left arm, that one in particular, you're having a hard time moving your arm the same way. You took a nasty bit of meat there, and it does not feel good.
I was just gonna leave his in for right
Yeah.
now.
So you've suffered an injury.
Yeah. That's something.
So Cub is currently assisting with the fire line. Alistair?
Well, I was gonna go into the build or try to see if there's anything to
It's
save in
probably
the
a bad
building,
idea.
but
Might be better to, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna help with the water line.
You're going to help with the fire
Yeah.
line as well.
I-
Ilva probably
yeah.
going to pitch in. Kethus?
I'm checking every fucking body that dropped in the grass, as many as I can find.
Give me an investigation. Everyone else, just go ahead and roll a d20 for me. Ashurka, what are you doing?
Sorry.
Hey,
Do there seem to be any gnolls that are like straggling behind the rest?
There's one that is struggling to get out of a tree about 30 yards away from you.
I am going to ride over to it and like, is it in the tree?
Yeah, he's like struggling to get down. He seems to kind of be stuck.
I'm just gonna sit underneath the tree, and just look at it and make sure it sees me sitting there, waiting for it to try to climb down.
It's definitely panicking, and it keeps trying to draw its bow, which is definitely why it's stuck. The bow is like wrapped up in a bunch of the branches, and it is just very stuck, but it is insistent upon drawing this bow, even though it has a sword hanging at its hip. But it's like insistent on getting this bow out, and it is just stuck. It seems to be panicking a little bit that you're underneath it. Like, it's like, oh shit. What do I do? But he definitely sees you.
How high above me is it?
About 10, 12 feet.
Okay. If I stand up on my horse, can I either climb up to it or drag it down?
I'd say you could grab it, yeah.
Okay, I will do that then.
Give me a strength check. Athletics, sorry.
Athletics.
Same thing, but adds a modifier.
That is a 14.
14? Yeah, that'll be enough. You managed to yank him out of the tree. He is going to take that fall damage.
Yeah.
Not a lot. He's going to take 3 points of fall damage.
Okay.
It just slams into the earth.
I would like to take my rope from out of my saddlebags and tie him up and throw him over the horse and start riding back.
Okay. I'd say you probably couldn't throw him over the horse without doing harm to Strawberry. He's a lot of natural weapons afforded him.
Sure.
And you just have 50 feet of rope, like, and a quick instant to restrain him. You could definitely drag him behind the horse.
I will definitely drag him behind the horse.
Tie him up by the legs and just start riding, and he is just bumping and bouncing and yelping and growling and furious, but he can't manage to get his hands up there. They just keep getting pulled back by the rocks, and he's getting beat to hell.
That's what you love to hear.
You're pretty sure you see a little trail of blood being left behind. He probably has hit some rocks pretty hard. Not doing so hot. As you all did your rolls, so let's go through the entire line and see what everyone got. So start from my left.
Yeah, investigation 14.
14, okay. There's not much on these knolls that you would want. It's a lot of just garbage tier gear. It's stuff that's clearly been salvaged and has not been maintained at all. There's been no effort to keep stuff clean, no effort to keep them polished or sharpened. It's garbage. On a couple of them, you find some newer bits of kit. I'd say you find 2 daggers in particular that seem more than likely to have come from one of these guardsmen. And then you find a purse full of coins. So about 8 copper and 5 silver. But unfortunately, they didn't really seem to be taking too many trophies or things of use. It's mostly like foodstuffs. There are some foodstuffs, but it's all been like chewed.
Could I have gotten my dagger back?
Yeah, you definitely found your dagger as well. That's easy enough. Cool. Especially since it went into a body and didn't like go
there.
wide.
Yeah.
It's like in a place.
Cool.
Alistair, what's your roll?
19.
19? Cub?
14.
14? Ilva?
6.
6? Okay. No worries. You're able to get 6 buckets transitioned. You're able to get 19. You're able to get, what was your roll?
14.
14, which would do... Okay. It takes about 30 minutes, but enough of this chain going and enough of you guys like kind of breaking the chain and just sprinting back and grabbing buckets for people who have brought spare buckets and just getting water yourself, or like grabbing tankards that people are bringing that are full of water, just anything you can get your hands on, running back and forth. The fire is beginning to subside. It's still going, and it still needs to be tended to, but it looks much more under control. It looks like it could probably be handled at this point. It's no longer going rampant. As long as someone is tending to it, it will not consume the entire building. There is a massive hole eaten out of the back of the barn from the fire, though. And a lot of the stores inside are ruined. Looks like probably about half of the stores within have been burnt to a point of no further use. Not looking like a good night for Holbrick. After the line starts to get under control a little bit, Yut comes up first to Yulva, being the first one that you would encounter, and just puts a hand on your shoulder and just nods and kind of like doesn't really seem able to speak too much right now. She shouts a barked order to make sure that the men are keeping this under control and are getting to it as soon as possible. And then she shouts for an axe crew to start pulling timber from the forest as soon as possible. She starts assigning a couple of guards to watch over them, since the gnolls are probably still close. The large man seems to be tending to some minor wounds, both on himself and on other people. And after a appropriate amount of time, Eagle comes rolling up the path from the town. And he just seems to be kind of in disbelief of what this current situation is, as this is the main store for the entire town, and it is now more than half destroyed. So, things not looking too great. Eagle is going to approach you guys, though, and just... he kind of looks solemnly, and just says, "Thank you. If not for you, well, they probably would have taken more than our stores."
That many, I think so.
We will need to prepare. We'll need to prepare for another offensive, more than likely. But that's not talk for now. You're all heroes as far as I'm concerned. Come, let's get you some food.
I will go to the guy that's taking out barbs that everyone else and ask for help with mine.
Yeah. He just... It looks like he sort of knows what he's doing, but he's not doing it delicately. He kind of has a little dagger, and he just digs it. He digs the tip of the dagger in and removes the barb.
Okay.
So he's basically cutting the flesh off of the barb. Seems to be the right way to do it, but it does not feel good. The barb is coming out, and you do notice, you saw Ilva pull hers out, and you saw that it, like, took meat with it. When yours comes out, it comes out clean. Cool. There's nothing attached. So it looks like, while it hurt, the way he did it is probably the right way to handle this.
Taking any damage?
No.
Okay, cool. That's all I wanted to do, then join them for
Okay.
I'll
Yeah.
See if he can take a look at my arm.
He kind of speaks in a surprisingly quiet voice. He says, "Oh my god, I forgot her name." It's okay, guys. I'm professional.
I know who her name is.
Yeah, I now know her name. That's okay. I'm professional. I keep notes. It's fine.
Yeah.
He's gonna just kind of quietly go, "Sorry, I should see you. She can help you better than I can."
Thank you.
He kind of nods.
And thank you for helping my friend.
Again, just smiles, nods. Goes back to tending to other guards who may have had altercations. You do notice that the arrows that some of these guards have been stuck with are similarly barbed and have to be cut out of the flesh. They can't just be pulled out.
Nasty.
Seems like they were intentionally made to maim.
Yeah.
To cause as much damage as possible upon entry. As you guys kind of take a moment, looking around and capturing the scene before you, the sky is a deep, deep crimson, as the fire still rages to some degree on the backside of the barn. The golden grass and the sea of wildflowers is charred and blackened, and there's blood pooled in many, many areas in this once serene and beautiful region. But much of it is standing. There's fresh wood. There's other flowers. It'll be okay. Time heals wounds like this. You guys survey this battlescape and realize that you held off a force far beyond you. And that's where we'll end it.
Okay.
Just really quick.
Yep.
Is the forest still glowing?
It is, but it's receding. So it seemed to be like torchlight.
Okay.
It was causing the But anyway,
Just making sure.
that's where we'll cut it for tonight. Thank you to everyone who joined us. As of right now, the stream schedule is going to be first and last month or Sunday of every month, same time, 5 o'clock. That stream schedule is probably going to start to get modified a little bit as we start implementing some other games every weekend. Look out for Fallout, Dragon Age, Starfinder, maybe Star Wars, maybe The Witcher. If any of those things interest you, keep an eye on any of our social media channels. Go ahead and give us a follow if you're not already. It's a good way to keep in touch if this was something you enjoyed. Feel free to join us again. Yeah, please. But yeah, if this is something you enjoyed, feel free to give us a follow. All of our links are actually, I believe, linked in the channel. Thank you all for joining us. Hope you guys had fun. And have a great night, everyone.
Have a
Thank you,
nerdy
everyone.
night, y'all.
Night.